Welcome back, everybody. My name is Steve. Nice to see you. You ever feel those winds of change, Loch? You ever feel the... Oh, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I just started this podcast is because Lochlin is eating the most delicious sandwich. It is not a podcast unless Lochlin breezes in and he's in the middle of a sandwich, or maybe some pho. Yeah, I'll fix it. You got a little pho? Is that a faux sandwich or pho?
No.
Is that what they call it? A pho sandwich?
Normally, I'm a little more creative with my sandwiches.
Yeah.
Because what I'll do is I'll cut some stuff up and put a little onion on there. And
a little
I'm
mayo,
a sandwich guy.
Yeah, me too.
I could live, when my wife goes away, I live off sandwiches.
Yeah, me too.
And Arby's. But today I had a very little time because, as you know, I'm fighting something. So I came home from work and I crashed. And then I didn't get up till about 5 or 10 minutes ago, washed my face quickly, and then I just took a bagel and jammed a bunch of meat on it with some cream cheese. And we are slamming this into my face hole.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
I thought I'd have some time because you never start on time. But
right. Yeah, well, we're still not on time. Like, if we started by the time you finish that sandwich, we would be sort of in the 3:15 to 3:20 range, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to get you having this sandwich to start the show, because it's not a show unless you're eating when you start the show. And I've got all kinds of respect for it. In radio, it's like the fucking biggest sin you could commit is doing a break with food in your mouth. But in podcasting,
you do that all the time.
Well, I know you do it. You also drink when you're on the air too, which is really smart, actually. I wished I would.
Listen.
Yeah.
That's alleged.
It's alleged. It's fucking true. Dude, just admit it. You have one of the rare jobs where you can do whatever you want anytime you want. Like, literally anytime you want. You can drink on the air. You can eat on the air. I'm just saying, I appreciate a man who says, hey, listen, I'm going to be on your podcast. You don't pay me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fucking have a sandwich right at the start of it, or maybe some soup. That's what I do. Or I might have a couple of drinks.
I haven't had the pho in a while. Is it pho or pho? No.
I think it's pho. I'm not too sure. We'll ask Caryma. She's going to be on in just a second. She had a crazy weekend. Speaking of pho, everything was fucked up in Peterborough. Did you see what happened in Peterborough? All the action down there.
I did. I saw something. Peterborough was trending today. Is it because of those idiots?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's because of Caryma. It's not even just because of the idiots, but anytime Caryma shows up with her cameraman, and she's like, hey, everybody, look at this. I
watched this one video where they were like parading around with flags about how be nice to each other.
Yeah.
God is beautiful. And they had all these, but then they're screaming at each other and
to shut the fuck up. Oh, yeah, dude. And we're going to fucking get you. Yeah, the guy with the God is love flag. It might have been the greatest example of hypocrisy I've ever seen in my life. Plus,
they don't see that, eh?
Gasps. No, I don't think they do. We'll ask Caryma, but that's a great question. I don't think they do. I don't think they see the irony in a guy with a flag that says God is love going, we're going to fucking kill you all. I don't know. I see it. I day to me.
It, maybe it's the color because it's always yellow. They're always like a bright yellow flag.
No, their flags are purple, dude. QAnon, it's the QAnon movement, right? So their flags are purple. Anyway, so Caryma's standing by. We're going to chat with her, and we have a lot to get over. A ton of stuff. We're going to talk about the Hail Satan kid. We're going to talk about the Queen of Canada, who did her best to arrest an entire police force this weekend. We're also going to talk a little bit about Tom Segura. Also going to talk about getting drunk at the movies, all the good stuff. Loch's under the weather, so bear with him today. But please welcome, before we get started, because there's a man that lives in your town who's subjecting himself to 7 marathons in 7 days.
Yeah.
His name's Luke Williamson. He owns a company called Accurate Network Services in Edmonton, and he joins us now, and we wanted to bring attention to it. Luke, nice to see you. How are you, buddy?
I think we got him muted. We got him muted?
You're muted. Now you're back. Yeah, that was my fault. Sorry, Luke.
3 years of COVID, and we're still muting each other like that, eh?
Yeah. I'm the worst. You're a business guy, right? You're the owner of Accurate Network Solutions. We do this every day. Like I do 6 or 7 Zoom meetings every day. We do a podcast for like 2 hours a day. Sometimes I'll do 2 or 3. And inevitably, I can't get my audio to work at the start of almost every single one of them, and I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just a button masher. That's all I do. Bang, 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 and then boom. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
It's a bad place to be.
Yeah, haven't figured it out. Anyway, Luke, great to see you. Tell me what you're doing, because this is kind of cool. Before we get into the show, I wanted to feature you because Lochlin is a big fan of the work that you're doing. You guys have a mutual connection with a business partner of ours named Scotty, great guy. And you're doing these marathons. And he phoned me and he's like, dude, my friend Luke's doing 7 marathons in 7 days or something. I'm like, why? And he's like, I don't know. We got to ask him. So there's the question. Tell us about what you're doing and why.
Yeah, so the shorter answer is I'm sacrificing my body for a great cause. So there's a local charity here that we've had the pleasure of working with for many years called the Winifred Stewart Foundation. Many people in Edmonton, of course, would be familiar with their work, and Joey Moss. And we're supporting really a program that they're putting on around employability. And so, kind of the old institutionalized model is take people with a variety of disabilities and, have them painting and doing crafts and things like that. And the reality is, these individuals have a huge amount of capacity in the workforce with a little patience, preparation, and training. So, we're just really rallied behind this cause. And, I thought what better way to, kind of prove my legitimacy to my own company in terms of taking a week off than to do some running for a great cause. So, that's really, really fantastic.
So you've done, how many have you done already? And because you did one this morning, like you texted me and I'm like, hey, you ready to go today? You're like, yeah, just got back from my run. It's really hot.
Yeah. So really excited. So
today.
it's closer to the end than the finish. So just finished marathon number 4. And it's awesome. We've had the community, members of Winifred Stewart come down, teammates. And it was awesome. I mean, yesterday we had 2 people that had never run a marathon before, and both of them with a little bit of limping near the finish line completed it. So a lot of feel-good moments there, and a great excuse just to get people out on the trail. And
how long is the marathon, Luke?
Like
42.2 kilometers.
What?
Jeez.
42.2, yeah.
42.2. So you every day for 7 days you run 42.2 kilometers, which is what? Is that
crazy.
4 hours? Is that about 4 hours? Is that what it would take you 3-4 hours?
Oh, we're not looking to beat any speed limits here, Dean. So
I know that, but like, what kind of time commitment are we talking about?
5 and a half hours is kind of our
so
target.
I talked to him at 5:50 this morning, 5:55, and you were just stretching and getting ready to start running. And then I did a show, came back, slept for an hour, and then got on a podcast. And you literally just basically drove back from the last run and then hooked up on the podcast. You've been running all morning. That's insane.
Yeah, totally. I got a change. I got the Coca-Cola getting in me, and rehydrating. But
dude, it's such a great cause. 42. I thought it was like 24 kilometers, Loch. Yours 42. It's like double what I thought it was.
It's insane.
Like such a huge commitment, man. That is unreal.
I sent you a link, Dean. You're better at the technical side of things. If we can somehow get that link out to people where they can donate, because this morning when we talked to Luke, he had raised, because there's a GoFundMe that he's trying to you're trying to get to 25,000, right?
Yeah, so we got a little ways to go. We're just over $10,000, and we appreciate everybody's generosity there. We did a short form link just to make it easier for folks to get to the GoFundMe, which is just 7marathons.ca with the numeral 7. So 7marathons.ca. And and then you can certainly follow us on our company Instagram. So that's Accurate Network Services. If you search us, you'll find it. And we have people from the community and friends and family all coming down every day to support this initiative. So
it's a huge initiative. WinifredStewart.com is where you can go. What I've done is I put
charity.
the link. Thanks, Loch.
Local charity.
And it's the kind of work like where it's like work. The charity exists to help people find themselves, get work, get skills. get their lives, get capable, all that stuff. So I absolutely dig it off the start. I think it's awesome because there's not enough of that. We're all into the sexy charities. We're all into the other. So this is like one of those charities where it's like, no, we go out and we actually do the work. WinifredStewart.com. You can check it out, and I've put the actual link in the conversation right here in our comment section, so you can go and check it out at YouTube, Dean Blundell Show on YouTube, Dean Blundell TV, and we'll make sure it gets in the description as well. But the GoFundMe, where can people? Yeah, please go ahead.
Can I just say one more thing? We'll get the link out again there where you can go directly to the GoFundMe. But if you just Google 7 marathons in 7 days Edmonton, it'll pop up. It's the first thing that pops up. If you're in Edmonton and you see Luke and his friends and family running, don't do what I do. Because when I see people running, quite often what I'll do is I'll pull over.
Throw some loose change?
Well, no. I'll just ask if they're okay. Like, are you... Do you need a hand? Like, can I call someone for you?
Well, everybody always asks me, what are you running from? And I, tell them it's my 260-pound version of myself from, almost 4 years ago now. So
did you used to be a fat guy, Luke?
Yeah, I got a D- from my doctor. So my doctor absolutely hates taking all of my medical information and condensing it down to a grade letter, but I make him do it every single year. And so I started this journey at a D-, and I just saw him about 6 months ago and he gave me an A-. So my goal is to have like a picture at the front of the clinic there and, maybe like a little shrine showing, how far I've come. So
sure. All good for you, dude. That's incredible. It's
Everyone
never too late
goals,
to change some of those habits, right? I love how he does it with his doctor too, where he's like, listen, I don't understand any of the scientific shit. Just give me a grade.
Give me a grade. Yeah. It's too complex for that apparently, but
I mean, I don't want to talk about my liver enzymes, but I get D. I get D-. I understand that.
I get D-. Yeah, I totally get it.
What I do enjoy about Luke too is that I've drank with Luke too, so this is even more surprising to me, right?
Scotty's wedding, yeah.
Did you know him when he was a fat guy too, Loch?
No. This is a very recent relationship. So Scotty used to work in radio, and like most people, got shit canned, and then Scotty landed on his feet at Luke's company, which is a technical support company. So what they do is, if like idiots like us, if we don't know how to run our laptops and things like that, they have a group of people behind the scenes where you just call them, and then they get on the phone or they log into your computer and they help fix your stupidity. So that's what Luke's company is.
Oh, you're kidding.
So
Accurate Network Services is what they do. They're an IT company for idiots like us. Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, they're a great company, and Scotty just absolutely loves it. He's finally making some money now.
Yeah,
he was in radio for about 12 years.
Everybody that leaves radio and goes into the real world is like, I didn't know they had money out in the real world. That's incredible. I had no idea. Anyway, Luke,
and his company parties are legendary. Every time he goes on a party, I'm grilling Scotty for information. I'm like, you did what? Yeah, the bus came, and then there was a party, and then there was bubbles, and then we went here, and then we were throwing axes, and it's like they always have like the best fucking parties too. I'm like, I'm gonna quit radio. I'm gonna go call Luke.
Network Solutions. Yeah. Dude, I'm in too.
One of my key roles is running the social committee still, for sure. I found out
when you're the boss, so
it'd be a bowling night, so I had to.
Yeah, but when you're the boss, you can just say, "Hey guys, we're gonna go on a work party," and you can take a little bit of money out of the kitty, and you can get everybody drunk. And I'll tell you something: the companies that do that, instead of the companies that do the once a year 2 beer tickets at the Christmas party, the companies like yours are the companies everybody will be working for in the next 3 to 5 years, guaranteed.
Yeah, literally, you could get Scotty to kill somebody for you based on just the staff parties, Luke.
All right, Luke. Luke Williamson, Accurate Network Services. Google them if you need some help in that department. You're in the Edmonton area. You need advice. Great. But please go and donate. WinifredStewart.com. You can check out the 7 Marathon 7 Days there. 7 Marathon 7 Days. Just Google it, Edmonton. It'll be the first thing to come up. And that is the easiest, fastest way to donate. Luke, really appreciate you being great to meet you as well. And congrats on losing about 100 pounds. No big deal. Yeah, you're welcome.
Luke,
we'll talk to you soon.
We should touch base before the end of the week just to find out where you're at, just in case if you need any help to get you over the over the hump. We'll do what we can on both of our ends here. Dean and I.
And big party on Thursday. So
okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Yes,
Actually, I kind of want to go to that now. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a party, and he's having a party to celebrate this too.
I kind of want to go to. I know, dude. He doesn't need a reason to party. Look at him. He lost 100 pounds. Feeling really good about himself. Looks great in a tank top. Let's go. That's what he's saying. Thanks, Luke. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Thanks, Luke. Good luck,
Thanks,
bud. Good luck.
appreciate it.
Take care. Luke Williamson, ladies and gentlemen, Accurate Network Services, Edmonton, Alberta, 7 marathon, 7 days, 42 kilometers every day for 7 days. Can you fucking believe? Like you do yoga every day for half an hour, maybe 20 minutes, but usually around half hour, 40 minutes, right? Maybe 15.
I try to do more than 30. Right.
Yeah.
And,
I see that sly look on your face. So it's probably closer to 15, 20, if we're being honest, right?
No, it's actually
A little bit.
I have done classes this year where I've gone an hour and 15, an hour and 20, right?
Yeah, but that's but think about that. That's a commitment that you make every day, and it's between 15 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes.
Dude,
This guy's 7 days a week. It runs for
how far
42 and a half
run right
kilometers.
now? Legit run.
20 feet, 30 feet max.
Well, like
Before
I
I'm
said,
this is bullshit.
I'd have trouble running to the liquor store and back.
No one runs to the liquor store, except maybe our next guest. Please welcome to the program, Gonzo journalist, lawyer, one of the greatest people I know, Caryma Saad, ladies and gentlemen. How do you like that?
Hi.
Caryma.
Do you like that? Do you like that? First of all, do you like the introduction that we give you? You only need one. Caryma's just like every time you trend, like when I trend, my whole name trends. When you trend, just your first name trends.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, I
like
just want my
Madonna.
first name to trend, like Cher. That's you. Yeah. Anyway.
That's a good intro, though.
Oh, we have some audio problems. Can you hear us? You got us?
Caryma, hey, turn off your email, Caryma. That might help.
Yeah. Yeah, shut down the email, shut down anything, shut down everything.
That reminds me too. You're supposed to send us some information so that we can get your web page, your merch page.
Can we
up.
not do the merch stuff like on the show? Can we do it like off the air? Or sorry, did you want to have a merch meeting right here? Go ahead.
I'm trying to fill some time.
Okay, go ahead.
I think we should be better now. A little bit. Yeah.
Briefly.
Go in and out.
Yeah, go out, come back in, like buzz out, come back in, see if we got you. It's going to be a big day today because Caryma had, I don't know if it was her biggest weekend, but it was up there. Like it was one of the biggest Caryma weekends. And if you haven't had a Caryma weekend in your life, Caryma Saad, you can follow her at Caryma Rules on Twitter. She was out in Peterborough this weekend because the Queen of Canada, Romana Dildulo, the QAnon Queen of Canada. We got you now. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfectly now. Yeah.
All right.
And you look
it's
fresh as a
Didulo,
daisy.
by the way. I don't know if we care, but it's Didulo.
I personally don't, but she might. Anyway,
What's the significance with sardines?
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Let's start at the beginning, and then we'll make our way to the sardines, and then we'll get past the sardines to the arrests. It was a great weekend. So Caryma and I work together on a few different issues, and it's kind of this impromptu work relationship, right? If you've been following Caryma, if you've been following us, one of the things that is very few joys in a 49-year-old man's life, one of the joys I have is following this young lady around as she sends back reports via Twitter or to my DMs or to the text, like, this is what I'm doing this weekend. I'm in Hamilton getting arrested by Doug Ford. Would you mind putting this? I'm like, no problem. So like on Saturday, you send me a text in the morning. You're like, I'm on my way to Peterborough, right? Now, I thought you were going to Peterborough because last week when we had you on, we danced on the graves of Roy and Nicole Asseltine from Peter Burgers, Plague Burgers. Everybody knows who they are, the Holdfast crew, because they broke up and the business went tits up, and then they're looking for new renters, I guess, wherever that location was. So you did go, you went and did a video, but much to my surprise, is there was top 3 action in Peterborough for crazies this weekend, like top 3. And we've seen some heavy shit in this country that you've covered. So why don't we start there? Because you went to dance on some graves, did it, perfect, loved it. And you also got to see a bunch of QAnon subjects of QAnon Queen Romana Dildulo. Romana Dildulo's crew try to perform a citizen's arrest of the entire Loch, the entire Peterborough police force this weekend. That was the goal.
It was ambitious.
When did you just?
An ambitious goal.
What's that?
It was ambitious.
It was ambitious. Yeah. Very.
And why?
Great question. This is where Caryma starts. Explain it to us.
So I mean, it's absurd, right? So none of these explanations are rational. I think that there's a couple of things. The stated reason was that police have been participating in so-called COVID crimes, which, you know, constitutes the enforcement of mandates, vaccine mandates, mask mandates, to the extent that police were even really doing that. On a more personal level, perhaps, one of the key organizers, Frank Curtin, he's had something of a contentious relationship with Peterborough Police for the last little while. He has tried making criminal complaints against his former employer, which didn't go anywhere. And so he believes that there is mass corruption in the Peterborough Police for reasons that, again, relate to the crimes against humanity, I think, were words that were thrown around. So that was the idea, that they have abdicated their role to serve and protect the public. They all needed to be arrested.
Okay, hang on. I got to stop you because the audio. We're having a hard time with the audio again. You're popping in and out. Not too sure why. Do you have any programs on your computer open?
So hold on, I'm going to go back to that. Just sorry,
yeah,
guys.
just gonna go back.
I'm so excited.
I know. I'm excited too. We're super jacked. We did a Twitter Spaces about this the other night, Loch, like literally right after it happened. It had 10,000 people listening to it. 10,000. That's how fucking huge this weekend was in Peterborough.
Yeah,
I saw
I saw a bunch of videos. I'm just so over it now. I have a hard time like dedicating I have a hard time dedicating brain space to try to figure out what's going on. Right. So if I see a video where they're handing out sardines or somebody's being like gang tackled by police, I watch it for the, okay, that's all I got. But I don't dig into the whole why. And then I just move on with my day. And then I come downstairs and I start drinking again. Right.
Yeah, but this one was different. I'm a lot like you now. This one was different. Like I don't mind the old Donnybrook. You know me. Anytime someone wants to get into it, that's not a bot. If you are a real person and you want to challenge me when it comes to the greater good and being of good character, I'm happy to get into it with you when it comes to that kind of stuff. But this was different. This is a woman who's a lifelong MLM scam artist. This is a person who steals from people. This is a person who has forced everybody that are her subjects. Romana Dildulo, that's her name, has forced her subjects to selling their homes, not paying their rent, giving her their money so that she can live in an RV and travel around and give out these royal decrees of, today don't pay your utility bill because it's going to be free when I'm the Queen of Canada. Today, you don't pay your mortgage because they're going to start giving people houses. Like literally, that is exactly what this woman is all about, and it happens. It works. Like she's actually doing it. Sorry, Caryma, you there? Gotcha.
Third time the charm.
Third time seems to be the charm. Okay, so let's go back. I was just kind of giving Loch some because he's like, listen, I'm so fucking tired of these people. But no, this was different, right? Like this experience was a whole bunch different this weekend because there was like a real cult feel to it. We'll get to the videos in a second. But again, if you could kind of recap and start over where you started in terms of why you went to Peterborough on this weekend and what the goal was for all of those people who were there.
Yeah, so this is a subset of the freedom movement. I describe them as the fringe of the fringe, and it is more cult-like because they all follow this personality influencer, call her that, Romana Dildulo, and they're loyal subjects, right? It's a mix of QAnon, sovereign citizenship, which is like pseudo-legal nonsense, the idea that Canada is not real, they don't need to pay taxes or their mortgage or their bills, etc. And included in that, this lady makes proclamations, including that all terrorists should be arrested. And for a variety of reasons, it was determined that Peterborough Police were committing crimes against humanity for their complicity in enforcing COVID mandates.
Did you get that, Loch?
I did. Yeah.
Is it still bad? Should I like?
No, it's not. No, it's a little bit better. We're going to manage through it. You're doing fine. But so to recap, recap, Romana Dildulo, get some tinfoil and put it on your shoulder. See if that works. Romana Dildulo is this lady here, and just to kind of give you some recap, it's Romana Dildulo is an anagram for "I am our Donald." By the way, I don't know if you know that. Like speaking of the Donald, meaning Donald Trump, who by the way had all of his passports taken away from him today. I'm not sure anybody knows that, so that's a fun story too, right there. But Romana Dildulo started this QAnon, God loves you, sovereign human movement where she's been encouraging people to do all kinds of really stupid shit that usually ends up with her benefiting somehow, like getting money from people, having someone be her personal security, having someone be her chef, having like it's truly one of the more fucking remarkable things that I've seen that has come out of this whole pandemic. And I did a little research into this young lady. And the South Asia Times had a great story on her. Didula's speeches filled with fantastic stories, including how she became the reigning monarch of Canada. She claims the Chinese military had clandestinely invaded her secret underground tunnels that were crisscrossing Canada with great difficulty. She says she commands her forces and cleared the tunnels of Chinese communists in this country. Don't know if you know that. Well, good for her if she did. She also claims to have special access to billions of dollars stored at the Vatican. She's also a bit of a fancies herself to be a shapeshifter. Caryma, I'm not sure if you're aware of that. Fancies herself to be a little bit of a shapeshifter who can assume any physical appearance she chooses. Yeah, it's weird that she chose that shape, but whatever. The U.S. Commander-in-Chief has assigned Dildulo to end the war in Ukraine by acting as mediator between the United States and Russia. She also claimed recently that Russian President Vladimir Putin, close friend, personally gifted her an autographed wristwatch. That's pretty fucking awesome, right? Like if it was true, it'd be like, fuck, that's incredible. So that's the person. This is the same human being, very nice little Filipino immigrant who just decided over like a 30-year career of scamming people, by the way. She has scam after scam after scam under her belt. Probably started with Amway, maybe went to Herbalife, probably did a little Arbonne. Well, who knows? I mean, you never know. But she was like MLM queen everywhere she went. And this is just next level shit. So she started this right when the pandemic started. She told everybody she was the QAnon Queen of Canada. QAnon endorsed her with their stupid QAnon drops. She's got 70 to 100,000 people who follow her every word on Telegram, send her money every month so that she can live in these RVs. And her royal decree, as Caryma said, was, here's the decree. We're going to go to Peterborough. We're going to perform a mass citizen's arrest of every police officer in that city for enforcing mandates and mass restrictions. Did I get that part right? Excellent. Yeah, excellent.
So can I give just a bit of perspective to, and again, the only reason I know this is because I met this guy years ago who believed similar things. I've been Googling, and maybe somebody in the comments section will remember this and send me a note, like just to give me an idea of what they call themselves. But I believe she's part of a group in the Western Canada that has for years believed that we're not a sovereign nation, that you don't actually own the rights to any of your names, that it's something to do with the post service or something too. They sue. Sorry?
They might have other names, but that's like sovereign citizenship.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're talking about sovereign citizenship. Yeah.
Yes, and that nobody owns the right to own any land in Canada, so you can't charge them rent They are not obliged to pay taxes.
Not obliged to be arrested. I've seen these libertarian sovereign citizen guys literally, because I have friends with York Regional Police, great guys, and they've arrested a few of these cats. And they're like, it's hilarious. We got to bring like 12 squad cars because guys are like, I don't subscribe to your laws. I don't subscribe to the tax.
Freeman
Yeah,
of the
Freeman.
land.
Yeah.
Shit. So I believe she might come from that, right? I don't know. I don't know if that's she would like agree with that, but that's something that we've been dealing with for years. And so, and again, I've mentioned this before, not that I'm brilliant or anything like that, but anybody that I have met in the past before COVID, before the pandemic, that had very strong opinions one way or the other about conspiracy theories. There's always that one guy at the party that wants to talk to you about 9/11 or an inside job or whatever. Those people just sort of gravitated towards this type of situation. And you know what I mean? Like they were already there. They were already entrenched in this type of belief system. So it didn't take them much to push them over into this side of things. And I think this is a perfect example of the same thing, right?
I think so. I think but I think it's got this tinge of like legitimate, like institutionalized insanity to it, which I think this Romana Dildulo is one of them. Now, Caryma, I want to get to how the day went, if that's okay with you. Do you mind?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, good. This is the start of the day. This is her RV, and this is your cameraman trying to get in touch with her and trying to say, hey, yeah, do you want to say something to us? You want to talk? This is her. This is a live version of the Queen. I can't believe it. We're going to have the Queen of the world. She's no longer the Queen of Canada, by the way. She's dubbed herself the Queen of the world. That is a fucking great promotion. Awesome.
We can park here for 1 hour. So this is the police station, and the park was just across the street. Okay,
She looks very regal.
where the event is. So across the street at the park. Okay.
Hi, Mrs. Queen. We've interacted before in Ottawa. Can I just get a comment for everybody on Twitter? Nothing political, because you wouldn't talk to me last time.
Thank you. Greetings.
What's going on here today?
Attend the event so you'll see.
Look at these guys in white. They're in personal security lock. All her personal security has to dress in Tommy Hilfiger white windbreakers and white pants and white shirts. There's her queen meet and greet the queen. So it started pretty good, Caryma, right? Like she's like, wait and see, wait and see. Kind of didn't really start great, but it is wait and see. She was kind of standoffish. This is you actually
there. I didn't actually expect. I didn't expect her to show up. She's been in Nova for the past little bit, and I think even the organizer was surprised that she was there.
Oh, really? So they didn't expect her to show up. So other people organized this. We'll get
This
to that.
was like a cameo.
Oh, this is a cameo. Like their queen showed up. They invited her, and she came to the actual mass arrest, the citizens' mass arrest. This is Caryma getting in front of the van and talking about the queen. This is great.
Any moment now, we expect the self-proclaimed Queen of Canada / the world, Romana Dildulo, to exit this RV. The plan is to arrest Peterborough Police. There's not a lot of legal basis to any of this.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Did she get out of the van? Did she get out of the RV at all?
Very briefly. So in total, I would say she spent maybe 5 to outside of the RV. Part of that was distributing snacks that I'm sure we'll get to. But she didn't make a speech. She wasn't out mingling. She was largely out of sight, and people who were approaching the van got like very steely glazed look. So she had a tight wall of protection.
Okay. And that was her security force, the people in the white, right? Like that. How many of those people were there, by the way? How many white stormtrooper people dressed up in Tommy Hilfiger gear were protecting her?
I want to. There might have been more, but there were at least 10.
At least 10. At least 10. Did you ask them why they were all wearing white?
Did they have weapons?
They don't talk. They won't talk to step away.
They're not allowed to
It's
speak?
it's like the Queen of England, the people with the big hat. You can kind of tease them and they won't react. I didn't go that far, so I'm not sure. But they just stood around and looked angry.
Yeah, did they ever? I mean, it's not like if their goal is to, get more people in the group, doesn't look like a happy group that I want to be a part of, that's for sure. Anyway,
Can we say this out loud?
Yeah.
There's 10. That's shocking, isn't it?
that there's 10, like shocking that she found 10 idiots to get dressed up like a bunch of ghosts and pretend they were security guards. That
Yeah,
kind of thing?
like I'll say that out loud. I feel it's 10 people are following this woman around like she actually has a legitimate
like
case.
she's the queen of the world. Yeah. They believe her. They believe those things. They believe that she Go ahead, Caryma.
Yeah, 10 adult people, like adults. Some are advanced in age. Life, and this is what they are doing with themselves. So it's scary rabbit hole.
Fucking shocking.
Yeah. Well, let's watch these scary rabbit hole idiots walk across the street to now after that little interaction. Caryma is standing there, and this is you're taking some pictures and video of these guys literally walking across the police station to start, because this was the goal. This was the plan. Again, not great planners. Called people terrible planners. These people were like, we're going to walk over to the police station, call them and tell them to come out. They're just going to come out. We're just going to start performing citizens arrests. That's what we're going to start doing. Watch this. There you go. Going across the crosswalk.
That's what we're here for.
That the guy in the camouflage, his name is Frank Curtin. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Who's the guy in the black? Do you know his name?
That is Tim. Tim Claudio.
Kim Claudio. Okay. And who's the guy in the blue shirt with it says 1776 who thinks he's in America? Who's that guy?
I didn't get his name, but he was out of the bunch.
All right.
Somehow didn't get arrested when the cops came. I don't know his name though.
Okay. That's Frank Curtin in the camo. Shocked we can even see him, to be honest with you. There's the outfits, Loch. There's the security outfits. These guys think they're going to do something great. Guy with the Jesus Christ is King sign. There's another security guy. These are grown-ass adults, dude, that legitimately think that they're going to arrest all the police officers. Look at it.
Does anybody watching recognize any family members? You may want to make a call.
Nothing's ever been proven to exist. There's a computer module from 1999, Dr. David Fauci, patent 0666, called COVID-19, but that's the only COVID-19 I can find anywhere in the world. So how can a computer module do this to our country? Well, it's people like this in here. That's why, because they do what they're told for money.
Hey, that's new. That's new. Computer module
This
666,
is
Tony
shocking.
Fauci. That's great.
This is shocking. It really is. It's kind of it's like we're watching like the disintegration of society here. Like this is like the beginning of
Oh no, it's just crazy bastards that think they're heroes. That's all it is. It's just like brainwashed, crazy religious
okay,
bastards.
am I reading
Yeah.
too much into it? Okay.
Well, I
all right.
think so.
'Cause this
We'll
is
get
bonkers.
Caryma. No, and Caryma's got a difference of opinion. Before we go ahead and share it, before we play the video of Frank asking for a peaceful rally and then getting his ass kicked. Go ahead. You think this is dangerous?
I'm more inclined to agree with Lochlin's perspective. Sort of comical as it is on its face, this is actually that they were able to get people out. Mind you, not everyone is a devoted follower of Didula. There were who kind of came out to see what was going on, were a bit unsure. curiosity, are part of the freedom movement and wanted to observe. But it's not just a Peterborough problem. It's not. I think it's more why only her group. This is a reflection of just a total of people and institutions and for a society to work, right? Rule of law, all of these concepts that are and are broken, and the repair process is not going to be an easy undertaking, and I can see things getting worse before they get.
Okay. Well, I mean, we all should just take solace in the fact that the people that run our country now and the people standing in line are the best of the best. That, I mean, I feel so much better knowing that the political culture in our country is so strong,
right?
And that if there is a way back, it's with these people.
Yeah, not going to happen.
No, we're fucked, Dean.
Oh, yeah,
you're
totally.
watching the beginning of a growing movement to the bottom of the sewer.
Yeah,
and look at this group. I mean, this is a small group, but there are a lot of people out there that believe these types of things, that cling to these fantasies and these conspiracy theories, like they're the answer to all of their problems.
They are.
It's
they are.
Crazy,
they believe that, and I'll get into a why. And I want you to watch Frank address the crowd that just assembled in front of the Peterborough Police Station, in front of a building with probably
the guy with the
camo. Frank Curtin. Yeah, he had a tough day, man. It got way worse for Frankie. But he addressed everybody. He's like, "Hey guys, I want you to know these citizens' arrests we're forcing on a bunch of well-armed police officers. Better be peaceful, everybody."
It's going to be peaceful. Okay, I truly believe in my heart all of you are here because you're tired of living this way. Okay, so we are the people who are going to make a difference today. We're going to request the military come and remove the criminals that have helped orchestrate this crime against the people. Okay. So again, if I could ask everybody just to be peaceful, I'll do the talking, and we'll wait for the military. Okay.
Frank, you go, buddy.
We'll see how it goes.
Oh, here he goes. Here he goes. Here goes the beginning of the mass arrests of the entire Peterborough police force by Ramona Dildulo's
look at these people. Look.
Yeah, dude, who think that she's the Queen of Canada, and her royal decree has sent these people there to arrest an entire police force of people with shotguns, tasers, billy clubs.
So as you can see, the crowd has landed at the Peterborough Police Station. Frank is inside the vestibule. He's planning to arrest police and wait for the military. There's a few dozen folks around, and we'll see what happens next.
Look at, he's still knocking. It's like, come on out. Want to arrest you guys?
I think this is a pretty good indication of their position.
Frank.
Holy shit. Why do I want to see him get tasered
We
first?
got to start call 911.
Yeah,
call 911.
I'll phone 911.
Call
That's
911.
illegal.
Punch the hell out of that guy, and then they'll come.
Someone's trying to pick.
Joking.
Did you hear that? She's like, let's punch the hell out of somebody and they'll come.
You know, 1776 there looks like he works out too. So this is, this is a fair fight, right?
Yeah, there you go. There's a fashionista conspiracy lady there, having a good time with my shirt. And back inside, see how the arrests are going? Doesn't appear they're going. Doesn't appear they're going. What the fuck is that?
This is insane.
What is that, Caryma? What was that? What did they think? Was that the plan? Like, did those people truly believe that the cops would just walk out? Is that correct? They did?
Yeah. Basically, before Frank, I'm like, okay, so how do you expect this to play out? And he's like, then arrest them. And I said, well, what if the doors are locked? No. We're going to go in and arrest them. And there was no plan B. There was no handcuffs or zip ties, which is, I mean, I suppose good, but to me demonstrates a lack of forethought.
I'm trying to find humor here. I really am. Thank you for laughing, Dean.
Oh my God!
This makes me want to cry.
You came. Oh, dude, I love it. You don't cry. This is incredible. I mean, you're
really
maybe never gonna see this again. This is like on.
I've never
par.
wanted to drink more right now.
Dude,
than
go
I have
get
in
one. This is on par with like the stuff that we heard about in Nazi Germany, where you're like, how can so many people just decide that was the right thing to do, was be mean to a whole bunch of other people? Like, how is that possible? It's like we will never. I don't think in our lifetime we're ever going to see this kind of legitimate cognitive dissonance, this kind of legitimate stupidity. So, without further ado, they show up to arrest the police. They don't get in the front door. Caryma, what happens next? Because this is probably about an hour after this, if I'm kind of following it. That's when the magic started to happen. Is that correct?
Yeah, they milled around at the front for quite some time. During this time, there was no thought given to the other entrances building. And at some point they figured out that, hold on, there's other ways the cops can. Unfortunately, most of those doors are in restricted area police station. Nonetheless, the crowd ventured zones, and that's where things got a little bit hairy. They approached that was I don't think in a restricted area. It was a park. It may have been cops off duty. It's not really clear. And after that, they really tried to get in, and an officer in a vehicle, and that's where
it went sideways. I've got that video, actually. I've got a couple versions, including yours. I've got someone else's.
Okay, now I'm committed.
Dude, this is awesome. So these guys, this is Frank, his buddy Kim.
Tim.
Those are the two guys that get Tim, T-I-M? Tim.
Tim's the one that looks a little like homeless Jesus.
Yeah. He looks
or
like
he works at a car wash.
Homeless Christ, yeah. So they... What's that?
He's a musician, so you're kind of right.
Oh, even better.
Enough. Yeah. Like we didn't know that. He's either a musician or he works at a car wash or both. I don't know. Either or. Anyway, so this is where the arrests start happening. Now, this is going to surprise people. None of the Peterborough police officers got arrested. It kind of went the other way. So it just turned into a mass arrest, but a reverse mass arrest.
They're there to arrest them.
But you got to watch this, dude. They approach a cop, maybe off duty, coming in, or maybe leaving the police station, and they go, "Hey, bud, get out of the car. We're going to arrest you." I want you to listen to the commentary. This is fucking one of the greatest videos you'll ever see.
No, you don't use your vehicle as a weapon. You guys are involved in the COVID crime, and we're placing you all under arrest. No. Here we go.
Hey,
Okay. They were bullying back from those guys. That was bullying.
Hey! I suggest you stand down! Stand down, please. Stand down!
Stand down!
Stand down!
You guys are under arrest, citizens.
Stand down!
Stand down! Keep your hands off of her. I saw that on camera.
Yeah, I saw that too. Hey! You guys, off Frank!
Hand behind your back.
Get your hand behind Stand down, please. You're under arrest.
Stand down. You guys
Stand down. Stand down.
Hand behind your back. Right. Left hand now behind your back.
You police are under arrest. Stand down. You're under arrest.
Any idea the world is awake to this bullshit? You get that off his head like that. You get that shirt off his face.
Hey, right now. Stand down. Stand down.
Okay, can we just stop for a second? And we'll get to the rest of the video. So this female police officer there's been a couple of celebrity upbringings out of Caryma's weekend. The blonde police officer is one of them. She's like, everybody's in love with this woman, and I'll show you a picture of her afterwards. She's like, okay, keep it coming. Well, I'll kick your ass too. Doesn't matter. So there's that. And then there's the Hail Satan kid, which we're going to get to in a second. But as everybody listening to the delusional loser going, You guys are supposed to be under arrest. Stand down. Quit arresting us. Like, are you listening to that? Have you guys sat and listened to how ridiculous these people are? They're getting their asses kicked.
Bothered by this?
No, not at all. I think there are a few other people, but no one on this panel is. I think it's brilliant.
No,
but I want you to listen to it again. Listen.
Stand down. Stand down.
Stand down.
Left hand now behind your back.
You police are under arrest. Stand down. You are under arrest.
Any idea the world is awake to this bullshit? And get that off his head like that. You get that shirt off his face.
Right now. Stand down. Stand down.
Fucking nuts.
Fuck off. Stand down.
That's brutal abuse.
Hey!
You're under arrest too.
Hey! Yo! Hey! I suggest
Get lost.
stand down. Stand down. Hey! Yo! You're hurting them. Holy fuck! Jesus Christ!
Yeah, start running.
This is police violence. Yeah! This is police brutality. This is police brutality. You will be charged. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. You're all under arrest. We're coming for you. We're coming for you.
I believe that is the find out portion of the fucking around, if I'm not mistaken. Caryma's shaking her head. Lochlin's not saying a word.
I
Thoughts,
don't
Locke?
even know what to say. Again, like I said, I the more I see this, the fact that it's not going away is more bothersome to me than anything. I mean, I know it's not a huge group, but it's an example of the level of delusion that we've reached culturally. I don't know, man. I mean, I see the humor in it. I get it. There are moments where you can't help but laugh, but I'm really bothered by this because, like I said, there's people in that crowd. Someone's going to watch this video at some point. I mean, we get, a couple thousand people watching live every day, but then this thing gets downloaded and gets watched and listened to, for weeks, months, for a year. And somebody's going to see a relative in there, right? And that's the thing that I keep thinking about, right? Like, there's family members out there that we've just completely lost. There's friends that just have completely lost touch with reality. And I guess I struggle too because I was born a cynic. I've always had a real strong distaste for authority, and I've had to work through that in my life because I had to figure out where it came from and why. And I had to make sure that I lived my life in such a way that I wasn't getting myself into trouble on a daily basis, just based on a wiring that made me think that I had to distrust people of authority figures, right? And I figured it out, and I've managed to cope and get through life. But the problem is that number, those people, they're growing. That faction of society is growing, and there is a element of our lives where it is good to have a healthy dose of cynicism when it comes to viewing the world that we live in and going, okay, that might not be right, and what's my part in it, and how can I make the world a better place if I shine a light on it. Now, unfortunately, we can't. We got to be careful. And I see us struggle. Well, I see the struggle in this podcast. We're trying to highlight this, but at the same time, we're also trying to highlight the things that are happening to us, like cell phone companies, government overreach with things like, decisions on what goes on the internet and things to that effect. So there's this. You understand what I'm saying, or have I lost you?
No,
So
no, it's a
I'm
great
very
point.
worried. I'm very worried that this is going to be perceived as something that we need to do to question authority moving forward. And that this is the only path, and I might as well jump in. All right, what's the fucking girl's name? She's the queen of the world. All right, and she wants the keys to my car. You know, like that's what I'm worried about. And
yeah, but hold
yeah.
it. So
They're muddying the waters.
Well, I know that, and I know that a bunch of groups will chime in when it comes to creating viral content, and I know that was part of the intention this weekend for some of those people. It's let's show the police doing dastardly things to us, but they've goaded them into it. They literally tried to get into the police station. They tried to arrest the police, right? And listen, say what you like. I mean, I'm a fan of whatever's happening, you have a responsibility to respond to it properly. These people have not responded to anything properly, probably their entire life. And when it comes to, overreach or, certain organizations and institutions in this country trying to take from the people of this country, you better believe that everybody on this panel, I think I can speak for Caryma. She is not a fan of the police state. She is not a fan of what she saw there. Well, and we had a couple of conversations. No, and I totally get that. Like, I completely understand it. But I don't think this is systemic as much as it is, hit and miss. Like, I know there are a lot of people that generally believe in the theocratic vision of their masters and what they think they're doing for the Conservative Party, what they think they're doing for mandates, what they think they're doing for vaccines. This is very different. And if we think it's as bad as it is, she'll pop back in a second. If we think it's as bad as it is, why aren't we seeing it everywhere? Like, that seemed to me to be a real one-off. Like, and I know that the convoy was a one-off, but the convoy didn't try to arrest a whole bunch of police officers. They didn't take the fight to the police. They didn't take the fight to authorities, right? They basically went there and said, fight us if you're willing to fight us. We're easy to go, and we're going to camp out until you do. But Caryma, is this systemic? And is this something that is community changing, or is this is just the worst of the worst and the dumbest of the fringe? There's my question.
So I do think this is the worst of the worst. Is it systemic? Is this going to inspire others? I can't see how it would, given how things played out. But, groups are adept at taking clips out of context and using that to fuel their movement. So who's to say? But overall, I think the systemic issue is like the discontent, right? And that's only going to get worse and worse and worse as people's material conditions deteriorate as well. And that has to do with the rising cost of groceries and gas and, what it takes to live anywhere and unaffordable housing and all of that. So those are the social issues that are underlying this. And the people who get the most involved in these movements, I think my observation is they have very little to lose. Either they're already kind of alienated from their families, or there's some sort of buffer that's allowing them to participate in this movement and still sort of survive and eat. So I don't know what those income sources are, but others who are attracted are miserable, and rightly so, because there are a lot of people falling through very, very wide gaps in society. So I think that's the part that's most concerning. And what Romana Dildulo sells is the idea
filling those gaps, filling those holes.
Yeah, free stuff, right? You get something for nothing. All you have to do is listen to me and everything's going to be taken care of. And when it doesn't go that way, well, too bad, so sad. And I noticed in the comments, someone alluded to a lady with disabilities who I interviewed. She was not there with the group. She actually came to visit knowing that I was in the area. There were a couple of Peterborough residents who stopped by, which was nice, actually, and validating. I'm sorry for the exposure I've given your city, But I really like Peterborough, actually.
Oh yeah, Peterborough took it in the mouth this weekend. It was like everybody's like, my buddy Bob, who's a liberal insider, he's like, "What the fuck is in the water in Peterborough?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think it's a beautiful city, actually. I just think it's like a hub for like some of the crazies, right? And when she showed up, it was on. Did you guys see the video where she said she called aliens for reinforcement? Queen Romana Dildulo. Have you guys seen that one?
Oh,
Dude,
why
there was
not?
a drone, so
We're
I mean, there
balls
was
deep now. Just show her the video. I mean,
So who saw that? Just you?
There you go. Watch this.
Okay. So those are the special forces, the Allied forces. So we're going to return there. Okay. That's the backup that I've asked for. So the triangular craft, military craft showed up. And that's the special forces. Right above the Peterborough Police Station. And many people witnessed the spaceship, or in this case, not a spaceship, but the aircraft showing. So we're going to go back there.
all right, I'm going
And
to
I
sell
will
everything, and I'm going to
flip
find
this
her and
camera
follow
over.
her.
As I said to everyone, to remain calm.
Remain calm, everybody. This is after the guys got arrested, by the way. So
And I am here to observe this entire process. I said no violence, no agitating anyone.
and she left. That's what she did. Hey, Caryma, the second that the fight started, she said she put in a call to her allied forces, and there were spaceships hovering above the Peterborough Police Station. By the way, I have a picture of those spaceships that someone took. This is from her Telegram account. There you go. There's the spaceships. It's clouds, just cumulus clouds that live in the sky, like that kind of stuff, right? So, like, this is what we're talking about, Locke. These people believe that she, like, the words that come out of her mouth are like truth. And keep in mind, this is the exact same person. Thanks, Caryma. This is the exact same person that thought it'd be a really grand idea to tell everybody to shoot doctors and nurses on site that were applying vaccines to human beings. Like that was her big thing about, I don't know, 6 months ago, 8 months ago. It was like, you got to shoot doctors, got to start shooting nurses. And the police actually showed up to her house, arrested her, and took her in for a full psychiatric evaluation and let her go a few days later. Like, she's that insane. And these people believe that she's the queen of the world. There you go. I mean, like, that's why I'm not that worried about it. It's not like this is going to catch on.
Can't keep her.
It's not like
in a
everybody's
hole.
going to go,
Like,
you
I
know
don't
what? That looks fucking great. She looks like she knows exactly what she's talking about. That person who looks like, fuck, I'm not even going to get into it. Like, there's no way that she's going to. It's not like Christianity in the year 155. It's not like going to change the world. This person's insane. She's like a 55-year-old grifter who's never had a real job in her life, who found her way into QAnon, and QAnon supports her, and she literally represents them and tells people what to do, and they believe it after they sell their stuff and give her their money so she can buy a new RV or sardines, which she was handing out at the thing.
So
Seriously.
for me, I mean, I understand how you can diminish her impact on the world that we live in, but when I see videos like this and I see 30 people, and that is shocking to me that she's managed to convince that many people to show up outside of a police station to arrest police officers. The thing that I focus on too is, and maybe I shouldn't, because for me, that's just an extension of the daily communication that I have based on the job that I do. And there is not a day that goes by that we don't get a text from somebody or a message on social media or a phone call where people are defending Donald Trump or saying something, some crazy religious thing, or
repeating QAnon rhetoric.
narratives.
Yeah.
It's daily, and it's in Edmonton, just doing what we do on a daily basis, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's where my concern is, and again, You brought up Caryma's belief structures revolving around the overreach of police as a whole in this country and the problems that she has tried to raise awareness to. How do you possibly even start trying to focus on that issue when this is trending in Canada? Right? You lose sight of what we need to really work on because crazy is taking over, right?
Caryma, you're going to say something?
There are people that watch these videos and they are actually sympathetic to this group. That's even crazy.
Yeah, I think, I mean, this is distracting, right? It's real and it's happening and it's dangerous. And so it warrants some level of attention. But it is a distraction from more substantive issues. I see the threat not in Romana Dildulo herself necessarily, because, you know, there is an expiry date for most of these grifters who show up and then they take what they can get and then they bounce when it's no longer viable. But sort of it's a symptom of like disease of, I don't know, our minds, our souls. I'm not really sure, our humanity, that anyone is even remotely attracted to this. And yeah, this is the extreme, but it comes in different shades. So I have trouble being, I guess, optimistic about the future.
That's where you and I are different. I feel incredibly optimistic right now watching the police beat the shit out of those people that day. I'm like, finally, someone's beating the shit out of people who deserve to have their shit kicked. Like, that's the way I look at it. And they brought the fight to them. And I'm like, that's how I grew up. I grew up in a world where if you went to the police station and you wasted police resources or you goaded a cop, like when I'm 14, I'll tell you a story. I'm 14. I give a cop the finger outside a Subway. He's driving by. That car stopped and I was in the back of the car in like 13 seconds max as 14. That's how I grew up. Right? Whether you like the police or not, I had extreme respect for an authority and someone with a gun after that. I'm like, fuck, I'm never doing that again. I get it. They can do anything they want. That's something we need to address as well. I get that. To your point, we lose sight of it through these things. But this is not the person that's going to cause a major upending in Canada over.
No,
this cult is not going to grow. Dude, watch this lady give out vegetables and sardines. Have you seen this?
We also have sardines.
Look at this.
Packaged sardines.
Caryma, do you eat any of these?
Take the price and pass it around.
No, I was able to hold back.
There you go.
Okay.
I cut them up myself.
She cut them herself.
All right,
nice?
there you go.
There she goes. What does she got?
And here's the sardines.
There's the sardines, Loch.
Want any? Take one and pass it around. Okay?
One each only.
Whoever's hungry.
You can only have one each? Yeah. That's not a buffet.
Pass it around.
There you go. There you go.
There's somebody on the roof. Did you see that? There's somebody on the roof.
There was someone on the roof of the RV for a lot of the time. But look, okay, so yes, the police handled it and, you know, they arguably exercised restraint because there were a lot more people who probably could have been arrested. But what is there really to celebrate when there was zero police presence in the park, zero police presence outside the station? There were no barricades put in place. This wasn't a secret. Obviously, I was able to find out about it from Toronto and come down to visit to see what was going on. Right. So if the police don't have that level of kind of intel, that's concerning. But they did know what was happening and they chose to react by not dispatching cruisers from that station all day, apparently. So where is the kind of positive in that? I have trouble seeing it. And I think that it's fair, actually, it's not a direct analogy to what happened in Ottawa, but sort of this throwing our hands in the air and, oh, I guess these guys will just take over this corner of the city for the day. That can't be the solution.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think they were allowed to congregate in Confederation Park? And why do you think, because you and I talked about this in our spaces the other night, and I agree with you, right? Is that if these people were of a different color, from a different background, from a different culture, do you think the response would have been different?
Yeah, without a doubt. If people had showed up with real grievances outside the police station, I think it would have been shut down relatively quick. And, you know, as far as cops having better things to do than attend to these people, well, they weren't doing much of anything out of that station on Saturday. And you know, there's other work to be done. Maybe everyone was on desk duty. I don't know. And obviously there's probably other officers that were dispatched for emergencies. I don't know logistically how they planned for that. But what message is that sending? What precedent is this setting? And like that, I don't know how we reconcile that. Like what peace and safety and serving and protecting the public, I didn't see any of that on Saturday.
All this does is just escalate from here too, because the next encounter is going to be, the cops are now mad because they saw that Peterborough was trending. They saw these videos across the country.
Dude, they listened to our spaces. Like Caryma and I did a spaces the other night. I think we had like 10,000 people listen to it. And I was informed after that the Peterborough Police literally listened to the whole thing. It was like an hour long. And so if I'm them, I'm like, holy fuck, did we ever look like idiots again today? Right? Like,
I don't know about that.
Seriously.
I wouldn't say that. I would say,
well, just from a preventative standpoint, from what Caryma's saying, like I love the ass kicking. Glad they went out and actually did it. But from a preventative standpoint, if they knew it was happening, I mean, you know, that's a great point. A great point is like, hey, you guys took no steps to actually prevent this from even happening and getting to this point. Had you, maybe the result would have been different. Glad it wasn't, because some of the video is fucking outstanding and otherworldly.
But to me, this is part of that conversation. Remember I told you about working with a real narcissist, a true narcissist.
Yeah.
And I remember the conversations because I was sort of mildly involved on a management level when I worked for the first one, when I worked with the first one. And I remember the conversations behind closed doors without that person in the building. And it was ongoing, and it went on for years. I don't understand. We've told him not to do this. Why does he do? And I kept saying, it doesn't matter what kind of attention it is. It's just attention. But there was a real lack of understanding on how to manage this individual. That's what's happening with the police force. Now, I don't know anything about the Peterborough Police Force, comparatively speaking, to any other police force in the country, whether it's good, bad, good people, bad people. I don't care. It doesn't matter. If you're looking at this group, you're going to get so hyper-focused and stuck on what the fuck is going on? Who shows up at a police? You can't get past that to sit there and have a reasonable conversation about how to counteract this, is my thought on it. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would.
You get stuck at crazy. I'm not defending them or their lack of action, but I think I understand it from that point. Like, what you mean? They're on their way to arrest us? What the? And then it's, you know what I mean? Like, then it's, where do you go from here? Well,
dude,
all
not
right,
even from a respect
let's go to the
standpoint, from a
sandwich
common
shop
sense
for lunch today.
But from a common sense standpoint, like you and I would both go, probably not a good idea to go challenge the police on their home turf, right? Like, just from even if we didn't share any of their personal views, it's like from a common sense standpoint, no one would do that. These people were literally told to do that. But the funny part is that this is the first time, as bad as this was, it's the first time I've ever seen a counter-protester outshine the protest. Like, usually counter-protesters, and Caryma, you ran into this gentleman, right? Tell us a little bit about this counter. I call him Mr. Ram Ranch. People are calling him the Hail Satan kid. But he was the whole day for me. I mean, you had Hail Satan and Queen Dildo, not your job. I know you weren't calling her that. Everybody else was. You had them trending all weekend long, the Hail Satan kid and Queen Dildo. But tell us a little bit about this Hail Satan kid, because he was the only counter-protester I've seen that's literally become almost a bigger story than the actual protesters themselves.
Yeah, he showed up while the group was still at Confederation Square. And initially he had a sign that said "Vaccines Save Lives." And it was really a short period of time before that sign was ripped up. And he was physically assaulted in order for that to happen. But he didn't leave. And I suspect that there might have been less yelling if he still had his sign. I can't say that for a fact. But then he relied on his vocal cords as his means of political expression. And people were really getting in his face. You know, he was his mask was ripped off at one point. He was pushed. He was shoved. He got like put onto the street basically. And through it all, he was very consistent in his messaging, which is, I'm here for anything that you guys are not here for. I oppose everything about you. You know, Romana's not a queen, things of that nature. And he stuck it out and like ultimately was pushed away. And you know, that was when he made his report, and this is sort of from a conversation we had afterwards, the feedback he got, even though police listened intently and took his statement, was, well, you know, we weren't there. What were you doing there? Which I don't think is, you know, that's not great for civil society.
So can I just get a timeline here? Is this counter-protest video that we're going to watch, is this before or after the attempt to arrest the police at Peterborough?
It's before. So he was gone prior to the arrests of the actual protesters. I would say he was there maybe from 1 o'clock to.
And what time did they storm the police station?
You know, I'd have to check my video. I want to say like 3 or 4 o'clock. But as we watch this, I will confirm that for you.
All right. Yeah. This is the first video that Caryma posted of who's commonly just referred to as the Hail Satan kid. You'll be able to find out why. He is fucking everything that these guys said. He just took the opposite approach. It's beautiful.
Why are you so hateful? Ram Ranch really rocks. Vaccines save lives. Vaccines save lives. Romana's not the queen. Vaccines save lives. Flag burners, fuck off. Vaccines save lives.
See, Loch, you love this guy.
I
Flag
do.
burners can fuck off. Look at the mean security dude.
You're trembling, like because you're angry at me. Why?
I'm not angry.
Okay.
I feel sorry.
Vaccines save lives.
I'm praying for you right now.
Oh, I would ask that you don't. Because Hail Satan!
Why
would you say something like that, buddy?
Yeah.
Satan. Why you're here pushing Satan?
I'm here pushing whatever you guys aren't.
Yeah. Good for
Vaccines save lives.
So you're the big one.
Oh, I'm huge.
Yeah, you
Vaccines save lives. Romana, what's her name? Dildulo. I'll get that right. Romana Dildulo is not the queen. Does that say God loves you in Matisse? No? Vaccines save lives. Vaccines save lives. You guys are assaulting aggressive assholes. Vaccines save lives. Flag burners can fuck off from Canada. Vaccines save lives.
That's like, look at this. Like, this is insane.
I guarantee I won't, because
Why am I feel like I'm on an island. Like, I find this to be absolutely hysterical. That was the first video Caryma posted at Caryma Rules. The second one's even better because he just goes on a full Hail Satan rampage. And I want you to check out these guys swearing at him, saying God hates you too. Like, these are the people trying to get other people into the fold. It's not a great approach. Watch this.
away now. Stay away. God hates you. God hates you.
Good. He hates you more.
There's a fucking kid there. Get the fuck out of here now.
I'm allowed to be here just like you. God hates you.
God hates you too.
He better. God hates you. Hail Satan.
Stay the fuck away.
You're telling your kids to call me names. That's indoctrination. That's fascist property.
All I'm saying to you is
You don't have characteristics
See them?
of fascists.
See them? Stay the fuck away from there now.
That's the corner I'm crossing.
Then go that way and go around.
I'm crossing that way.
Then let's go. I'll fucking guide you that way.
5 minutes.
Then not even 5. If you're gonna be starting shit, let's go. And I'll fucking
Hail Satan!
He lives in Peterborough.
Hail Satan! I live in Peterborough. How many of you live in Peterborough, huh? How many of you live in Peterborough?
I love it. I love it. I don't know why everybody here is sitting here in disbelief, especially you, Caryma, because you were there for it. Maybe it was a little more intense, but I would
just got adrenaline coursing through my body.
I would pay for that guy, and I would rally around the Hail Satan guy, and to the point where I wrote a post about this yesterday. I would go to a costume shop this week. I would get 7 to 10 Satan costumes. I would put out a call to action, say, hey, who wants to get dressed up like Satan and go to the next one of these weirdo asshole parades? And I would hand those out, and I would go with that young man, and I would breathe the word of the devil into every crowd just to be that asshole. That's how motivating that was for me. Because it has nothing. Satan's not real. God isn't real. That kid has more courage than any person I have seen stand up against this group. More than you, more than me, not as much as Caryma. She's one of the most courageous human beings. You would never do that? No? Seriously? You would never do that?
That's not my style. So I totally admire the ability to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I would get punched in the face. So I would not do that personally.
He did. He got attacked.
He did.
He got
He did.
scratched. He got punched.
I don't
he got
like
kicked.
being
He got
hurt.
everything. And all he was doing is what they were doing, only the exact mirror opposite of it. So if you thought that these were good people interested in, a better world, case in point, they're not. They're just a bunch of giant fucking losers.
That irony has to sit with them. Like when they go home at night, wherever they live, and they're eating their sardines and eating their cut up vegetables from the Queen of the World, they have to sit there and go, okay, like I'm protesting and I'm out there trying to present an opposing view to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
But then when it's presented to them in their face, they attack back.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that irony has to sit with them. No?
Caryma, does it?
No, it does not sit with them. I hold out a hope that they, do go home and kind of watch this video, and they're watching it alone, and there's no one to sort of talk to, like and then maybe it sinks in. But I really don't know that that's the case. And it's a very deep level of cognitive dissonance where they're right, everyone else is wrong, they're victimized. I'm a government operative for showing up and making them look bad, even though truly they just present themselves and I capture it. Like there's no setup. And that's that concept doesn't land for whatever reason. Maybe it does with some people, and maybe that's why there are people in the freedom movement who kind of stop showing up or change the way that they engage with it. I like to think that that's possible, but for those who are really far gone, I'm the bad guy.
It's a lesson for everyone, though. It really is, because I think what ends up happening on both sides, and again, I try to steer, I try to negotiate my way when I get sucked into it on any level, whether it's on Twitter or at work on text or whatever. I try to negotiate it through through a humor or or some sort of comedic, so that I'm not viewed as being angry or combative with it. But you see on both sides this tension and this, you're a fucking idiot if you believe this. Well, you're a fucking idiot if you believe this. And I get so frustrated with that discourse and that constant exchange and that lack of understanding from people on the left and on the right. If that's the simpler way of describing what we're dealing with here. I get so frustrated with both of their lack of ability to understand their role in it. Right. And it's that's why I think I'm so bothered by this. is that this is not helping. As much as I have appreciation for what that kid do to try to shine a light on it, I'm just not sure it's worth it, right?
I don't know, man. That kid was like one of the heroes of the weekend. Like Caryma and I were discussing it, like hours after they all got arrested, they were talking about two things. One, the unbelievability of what they just witnessed through your camera on Twitter. But the other thing was the Hail Satan kid. Everybody was like, why can't we all be like that? Why can't we all show up? And that's when it dawned on me. And you think I'm joking about the Satan outfits? Like, fuck, I'm not. I would legitimately, like, I was thinking in my mind, what can people do, right, to stand in the way of, you know, this? What can we do? And it's basically to mock it, like, literally. Like, I know you're taking it seriously because there's a serious tinge to it, I guess, because of cognitive dissonance, and a lot of people are fucking crazy.
So you're
and
not
the religious
bothered? Like,
freaks. Not at all.
Can I ask you?
Not at all bothered by it.
So you don't, like, when you see this stuff, it doesn't stress you out?
No, not at all.
Caryma, does
Zero.
it stress you out?
On some level, yeah.
Like, I got anxiety. Like, I see the humor in it, but I've been anxious since I saw these videos on the weekend, because I knew as soon as I saw them,
talk about it.
Yeah, I've been anxious about it because I don't know what
my
that is
normal
about
meter
me.
is a bit broken now, right? Like, what's normal to, like, this was on the extreme end of things, but I've seen some shit over the past 2 years, right? So yes, this is stressful. But like, I also am taking it in stride, because what else can you really do?
Like, my chest hurts right now. Like, I got a pain in my chest from this.
From watching this stuff? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I get that anxious over this.
Buddy,
I'm trying. I'm trying not to. Honestly, I'm trying to, because I enjoy you, Dean. When you laugh, I really enjoy your laughter, and I see where it's funny, but I find like I'm sick about it. That this is where we're at. Right?
You might be more human than we thought.
Well,
and I might be less human than we thought. I might actually not be the person I thought I was.
But I'm also the guy that's like, okay, if I was in Ontario, I kind of like Dean's plan. Maybe I will dress up in a Satan suit and join Hail Satan.
I showed up in a pink gorilla suit one time. So
I'm not trying to draw sympathy. I'm trying to understand why you don't see it and why it stresses me out so much. Like,
I think it's because, like Caryma said, you know, she's built up this calluses, right? You know, like she's puts herself in the cauldron with these wieners and documents it. And you know, and I said that to you yesterday on the phone, Caryma. I'm like, you know, one of the great parts about this last weekend, other than how viral you went every time you posted something from there, which is awesome, by the way. Like, she just goes and does her work, and a few million impressions, few 100,000 retweets, big deal. But I'm glad that you do it, because I'm like, oh, okay, I can recognize what this is. I see this for what it is, which is, you know, the dregs, the fringe of the fringe of the fringe, not just unacceptable, legitimately brainwashed and crazy. And there's nothing you can do about it anymore. Like, nothing other than laugh and draw attention to it and explain who these people are and what their intentions are. Like, one of the videos that was really disturbing to a lot of people was this older lady, who literally, like, I think you called her a crisis actor, laying on the ground screaming for her life. Like, I've never seen anything like this before in my life. And I'm like, this is all fake bullshit. Like, this woman is getting arrested. This is fake bullshit. And they want you to feel that way, in my opinion. If you wanted,
she wasn't even being arrested. She was being held by the wrist.
Yeah.
That was it. And then I guess she screamed loud enough that the cop was like, this isn't worth it. And then she was escorted away by one of her friends, only to get right back in the fray. So there was definitely, on some level, they wanted to get footage of something to use for some purpose. I don't know how far they were thinking ahead, but you know, it was dramatic and it was not proportionate to what was happening to her.
Bingo. Crisis acting, dude. Like a lot of these people were there to get the video that Caryma put out, which is like, look at the brutality. Want you to watch this woman screaming at the top of her fucking banshee lungs while nothing is happening to her.
Jesus Christ, Carol, calm down.
Like, this isn't normal. These aren't normal people. Like, she goes and gets right back into it after pretending that she was getting fucking stabbed over and over and over again. How can you not laugh at these idiots? Like, how is it possible for anybody on this panel?
I'll work on it.
Like you, how is it possible for you to go, ooh, I feel sort of sorry for that woman? Are you
I
fucking
don't
kidding
feel
me?
sorry for I'm disgusted by the whole thing. I don't feel sorry for her, Dean. I did not want to present that image here. I am bothered by this whole thing that this is happening. That I think that's what it is.
Because they want it to happen, dude. Part of it was like they thought they would arrest people, but they wanted to get the video. I would have too. Yeah, that would have been fun.
Yeah, like, but that's the point. That's the next step, because these cops are pissed off. They're gonna taser him next time they show up to, and probably rightfully so, right? Like,
Caryma, you're gonna say something. Oh, pardon me. Fuck, sorry, I got you. Go ahead. Start again.
It's not that we should feel sorry for anyone who willfully puts themselves in this situation, although I do question whether there are capacity issues on the part of some of the participants. But like on a micro level, it's largely tragedy and tragic circumstances that drive people to participate in this. I think just kind of being privy to some of the backstories or chatting with people, and then, you know, they say something in such a way that it's like, oh my God, like that's really unfortunate. But it's revealing, right? So on that, like, these are our fellow citizens, right? For better or worse, that's what it is. And the solution is not to jail everybody who's involved with this. The solution is a social solution, and we currently have no political party at any sort of level of jurisdiction that gives a shit. So that's the terrifying part, that we're like, and I'm critical of police, right? But at the same time, this isn't a problem for police to solve. It's impossible for police to solve this. And if we try to use them for that purpose, it's not going to have the proper result. But there's nobody working on a solution. And that's the part that makes me really sad.
Well, have you guys not been listening to my solutions in this whole podcast? 7 Satan outfits, a little bit of a short bus. We'll all go down there together. We'll bring snacks better than sardines. We'll hand those out. We'll mock the whole crew. Like, that's the only people that are doing anything about it.
Something with the snacks.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, there could be a nutrition issue here, right?
Absolutely.
Are they getting?
No one ate the sardines, and that's maybe why they were unsuccessful. I think.
Well, fuck. How out of touch are you when you bring sardines to a police mass arrest? Like, no one's gonna go, ooh, let me take a break from arresting this constable and open up a tin of sardines.
Maybe they were trying to draw the cops out, actually, like lure them.
With the sardines, with the fish? Maybe. I don't know. But dude, this is a job for us. This is a job. This is why we do it. There are a lot of clicks in this business. There is a lot of attention in this business, and Caryma proves it every single weekend. Someone tweeted this weekend. There's like, Dean and Caryma take a lot of shit. Did you see that tweet? But they're the only people that are actually like reporting on this cultural phenomenon, and it is, to that point, it is a cultural phenomenon. However, this has existed forever. We always have had crazy people. This is intergenerational. Every single 75 years or 80 years or something, this new flavor comes along. Someone captures the imagination of a bunch of idiots who are like, I hate the way that my life is going. And they're like, really? You hate the way your life's going? Come with me. I'll give you everything you need. And we're going to fight this fight together. Let's mobilize together. And so we get convoys and we get idiots that go, hey, why do we believe this Filipino immigrant who's running MLM scams on the side for the last 30 years? Let's sell all of our stuff, give it to her, stop paying our bills and destroy our lives, get these cool little white outfits on and pretend we're her security and drive around in an RV eating cut up vegetables and canned no-name sardines. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, that's why these people are not serious people. That's why I don't take them seriously. That is why they get arrested. And this is a
Doesn't it bother you, though? Doesn't it bother you that a lot of those people look relative, like, I mean, on the outside,
relatively
just
normal?
a quick look. You know, hey, listen, you see Larry. No. Show the video of them standing outside of the bus, the RV.
Yeah. All right.
These are people you encounter on a daily basis, Dean. Right?
I don't know if I encounter any of these people. I don't work in circles with these losers. There's no way I'm going to be fucking hanging around with any of these people. There's no way. Here's Frank asking.
No, I understand that, but
point.
it's some you're at the grocery store, you're Sobeys, and you're sandwich meat, right?
Yeah.
Like some of these people you would encounter on a day-to-day basis, right? You might work with somebody, you know. I mean, I understand that I mean, we got to put them in a category of crazy just based on what they believe and who they're following and where they're at and the situation that they put themselves in this weekend. Yeah, it's easy. Let's put them in a box. But just put a picture of one of these assholes. Just, hey, what do you think of this person? And ask 100 people. They're going to go, I don't know. I mean, he probably owns a place, lives with his wife just outside of town. On Saturdays, he's cutting his lawn. No, on Saturdays, he's trying to arrest fucking police forces across the country. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you look at these people, they look relatively normal. You might run into Carol here, the one that was screaming at church, right? She maybe teaches Sunday school, or like, they look like relatively normal, contributing citizens. Like, I see crazy people all the time. You see people talking to themselves. You see people in distress. That's not what I get here. And I guess that's part of the reason why when I'm watching it, I'm going, this is difficult to watch. Because it's not like, what's his name here in the camo that got his ass handed to him for a half an hour from the
Frankie
Frank
got his ass
Frank,
kicked, yeah.
Fuck, Frank looks like a guy who drives bus. Right? He looks like a guy that might ask you for the, hey, wrong change, or do you need a transfer? I mean, he just looks like a normal fucking dude, you know? Like, I don't know.
Now, dude, I thought that when I went to the Rage show a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, dude, I'm so glad I don't know anybody's vaccination status in this crowd. Everybody seems to be having a good time without it. I'm so glad I didn't know the conviction of every single person at that show, because it was the first time I'm like in a group of people, felt totally normal, thought, all these individuals, but was that just me being like an idiot for 40 years prior to this whole thing, where it's like I just expected everybody to have decent values, decent perspectives, and to be terra firma? Because I think it was. I think what we have here is a combination of a couple of things, and one of them is like an awakening of sorts for everybody else other than these people. Like, these people talk about being awake all the time. Oh, you're not awake. You don't know what's really going on. I am so much more tuned in to bullshit and how to get rid of it in my life because of people like this, because I'm not an idiot, because I ask questions, because I look for sole source information. Never. I'm a person that now has to, when I hear news or hear a story, I check 10 to 15 sources just to make sure that what I'm talking about is accurate. None of these people do, because they're not interested in being right. None of them. They're interested in their perspective being justified. And hopefully that's right. And the idea that they're wrong because of the way they've acted for 2 fucking years, or maybe longer, the idea that they're wrong is just death to them.
Much longer.
Like, did you, Caryma, you had, you guys caught up across the street from the police station, Loch? There's these 2 old guys from Peterborough sitting on their porch having beers.
Oh, I did not see this part. I gave up. I saw a couple of these videos this weekend, and I couldn't do it. As much as I love you, Caryma, I couldn't do it.
I'm sorry to cause you so much distress, Loch.
No, it's not you. It's not you. It's just my headspace right now. Right?
No, for sure. But there were a couple of guys watching the show play out from their porch, who happened to have been colleagues of Frank's, like long time, see him every day kind of deal. And it was really insightful. I forget exactly how he phrased it off camera, but it was the idea that, you know, he had been, ever since Trump lost the election, it sounds like that was a turning point where, you know, he was consuming more and more conspiracy theories, and then they expanded to take up everything in his mind, right? And so there was no more normal conversation with Frank. It was, hey, how was your weekend? Oh my God, the voting machines, or, you know, and then slippery slope. And the danger.
Oh my God, they raided Mar-a-Lago, you guys. I can't believe it. Hey Frank, how was your weekend? They raided Mar-a-Lago. I can't believe it. It's hard to believe.
Well, and you know what's interesting? Can I just jump in here? Because I had a similar situation with a guy that was calling on a regular basis and then threatened me and my kids and my wife and everything like that. And then I invited him down to the radio station where I legitimately said, we're going to meet in the parking lot and this is going to end right now. And then that was the last I ever heard of him. But the thing about that guy was because I used to ask him on a fairly regular basis. I used to go, Pete, like, what does everybody that you work with think of you? And he goes, they love me. They think I'm awesome. I am like an exemplary employee. And then members of the staff who started to hear me playing his calls on the radio started calling me and reaching out to me going, we can't fucking stand this guy's a lunatic. Everyone's scared of him. They lose Caryma. They lose the room, but they don't have the ability to realize they've lost the room. And they keep thinking that that everyone around them is on board, and everyone else is just scared to engage with them now because they've gone off the fucking deep end, right?
And that's how they alienate the normal people in their lives, right? To the extent that, you know, anyone's normal, and then congregate with other like-minded people who have also alienated everyone, and then it just ramps up the madness. And, you know, like it's sad. But also there's so many factors that contribute to it. And like I alluded, I think earlier, but I don't know if my audio was working for this, that Frank had a personal gripe with police because they refused to take action on a complaint that he made where he believes that his employer, and I guess it was like a factory, right? Like manufacturing bottles and other things. That his employer knew before COVID to set aside X amount of production space for hand sanitizer, and that this is proof that, you know, he was in on it, and they knew before COVID hit that there was going to be this increased need, blah, blah, blah. And when I talked to the balcony guys about it, they were like, that's nonsense. Like, we don't even know what goes into the bottles. Like, there's no way of saying that. We just make the bottles.
So he created his grievance out of nothing, like a lot of these people do, where they're like, no one's paying attention to me. I'm the victim. And if you're not going to pay attention to me, I'm going to escalate. When they don't get what they want, they don't understand that even less. They get even angrier, right? And the people around him are like, dude, you're so fucking toxic and way off. It's hard to believe, but fill your boots. And then you get a Frank Curtin. I've got the video here if you want me to play it for you, Caryma. This is
now
a video.
I want to see the balcony guys.
These guys are your guys.
The Muppets.
These guys are your guys. Like, Peterborough is all right when you see these two. This is old school. Sitting on the porch. You got a shitty tablecloth on an old table. It's full of dead soldiers and empties. Like, just sitting there. Got a fucking hat on. He's leaning back in an old lawn chair. Watch this.
Yeah, what he was saying about the bottles, they're just bottles that we made. That was it. You know, it may have had to do with COVID, may not have. God only knows.
So these gentlemen have been watching the show from across the street, and the police station is right here. You can see Romana's RV.
Yeah, it was a joke.
Why hasn't the Queen come out and stepped in and made a proclamation of everybody's innocence? Where is the Queen? What happened to her security as soon as the shit went down? They disappeared like snowflakes on a summer fucking day.
And the whole thing, the main guy who got arrested, actually classified our boss as a pedophile.
Called him a pedophile, our boss. I hope he sues his ass off right now. Stupid. This is just stupid now. It's gone beyond whatever this is.
He belongs to so many charities in town.
40 went out for a poop. We've seen him do it, so he's good.
I'd rather him.
No, it's just nuts. It's been a joke all day.
Yeah, there you go. I love those guys. Old boys. They're like, it's fucked. That guy's fucked. This whole thing's fucked. Let's just get more drunk as we can sit here and watch this stuff. That's fucking Peterborough.
Better than TV.
Yeah, Peterborough's a great city, by the way. It's full of really good people. It's just got some extra rednecks in it that are extra aggressive. But to your point, which is what they were talking about, they're like, the guy's insane. Did you hear him? He's like, that guy accused our boss of being a pedophile. That's why he got fired. Like, fuck him. I'm like, oh, the old pedophile trick. Like, these people are not normal. These people all need help. They all need institutionalizing. They need deprogramming, de-radicalization. Until that point, they're just going to continue to circumcise their lives. And guys like that are going to sit across the table and go, look at those fucking idiots. Like we are.
You alluded to it, Caryma. You alluded to it. Frank was already there before COVID. He was already that guy, right? Right. This was just the new shiny thing that they went after. Yeah. Again, we saw here.
He was more functional, but I mean, I don't want to speak on it because I don't know the guy, right? But like it was a slope that he went down, and things got drastically worse during the pandemic, which is true for many of us. And you know, the thing about conspiracy theories is that they work best when there's a grain of truth to it. So circling back to one of your earlier points, where there are things to be skeptical or critical of when it comes to government and corruption and kind of how our institutions serve or don't serve the population, there's legitimate grievances there. Yeah. And then you just dump in a whole bunch of toxic garbage to muddy the waters, and you know, suddenly
nothing gets done.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're trying to arrest the police. Like it just.
By the way, mass arrest all the police, not just one. They weren't just looking to get one guy. They were looking to take everybody to the clink.
Do we know where Frank is now? Did Frank get to go home?
Frank's in jail. Yeah,
Frank's
Frank.
No, he got out. He got out on a $500, I think, no deposit, but he's not allowed to go to the police station.
Did the Queen get him out?
No,
the Queen, the Queen, she didn't leave immediately after the arrests. She moved her RV to the back of the police station and was there for a couple of hours probably. And then she started to drive, and I scooted behind, and first time she just went around the block, and second time she went into a parking lot on the other side of kind of halfway around the circle. And then they pulled out and drove around Peterborough again in a circle until the battery of my scooter ran out, and I don't know where she went.
Well, it doesn't really matter where she went. Like, does it?
She left. She didn't provide any real assistance, you know, apart from her pretend conversation with the U.S. military / aliens.
Aliens, yeah.
Yeah, and now she's blaming her people. So she had an announcement today at 3 p.m., which is probably why my internet signal was down. You know, that was probably Queen interference. But you know, you guys didn't show up in enough numbers, and I told you all to be peaceful, and I was just there to observe. So it's like this deflection that's already happening, and some of them are buying it, and some of them are just mad at the cops. So
yeah, she blamed them. She threw them under the royal RV, if you will, Lochlin. all of them. Look at this. This is what she posted after. This is from AVK. General reminder that Her Royal Majesty Queen Romana Dildulo, Commander-in-Chief and Queen of the Kingdom of Canada, was in Peterborough yesterday as an observer, not a participant. I was not. Which part of peaceful and calm was not clear yesterday, she says. Then she says, Her Royal Majesty Queen Romana went to Peterborough, Ontario yesterday to observe both sides. The police reaction to We the People and We the People reaction to police. It gets better. She then said, this is fucking awesome. This is what she put out during the actual event. From the Fort Detrick indicates that 4 XR001 CRISPR genetically modified super soldiers are being pulled from cold storage and will be deployed within the hour to the Peterborough Police Station. What are they? They're formed by crossing the DNA of white rappers and Filipinos, and they've created the strongest race known to man. Within them is a life force and a power never seen on this plane. May the Lord have mercy on everybody who dares cross them. Boogity boogity, everybody.
Listen, white rappers
/ white rapper super soldiers are coming to get us.
That's the last demographic I would use for eugenics. I'm just going to put that out there. Literally any other group I'm going to pick over white rappers.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I feel the exact same way about white rappers. Totally feel the same way about them. It's like, dude, you're not even really yourself. How are you going to be someone else? Yeah, Snow. He was pretty good, though. I actually liked him. Can you believe that shit? Like, this is who we're talking about. And here's the fucking great part. A lot of people think she's real. Like, a lot of people are like, God damn, I can't wait for these white rapper / Filipino cross super soldiers to come and take out the Peterborough Police Service. Like, it's fucking awesome. That's why I think this is funny. As we go right back around to the beginning, you guys can take it seriously.
I'm coming around on funny now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you go back and watch Caryma's videos now all day. You know what? Have 6 beers tonight and just go through her feed and start watching all the at Caryma rules. Just start
I just
watching
want my
all
chest
the videos.
to stop hurting.
Yeah, it will. It will once you get through with the COVID that you have, for sure. Yeah. Anyway.
I tested. I don't have COVID. I tested twice this weekend. I tested Saturday and Sunday. I just have a cold.
And you're not sick?
I'm sick. I just don't have the vid.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You might. It hides. It hides behind other colds.
Does the vid hide?
Yeah, it hides before it gets
No.
you. You might get. Caryma, thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you were great this weekend, by the way. Just awesome. Like, easily the funniest I've ever seen you. The best. Like, this just one still that I want to take. This guy tried to block Caryma from actually filing a report, and she filed it by putting her head around him and dying laughing. That's the difference between Caryma like 6 months ago and the Caryma that I saw, total boss, was that you treated it like it should have been treated. Sure, you've got some concerns overall about the mental health of this country. We all do when we see it. But fuck, you can't cover this like it's not a game. That's all this is at this point. Like, Twitter is a game to me. I see it all in binary. It's like the fucking Matrix. Every time I see Caryma put something up there that you go, I can't watch that because it's going to hurt my chest. I'm like, give me more. Give me more. All it is content. It's like a leap pad for me to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Because listen, folks, from your friend Dean to you, if you're bothered by this, you have to look at it through the lens with which we have to look at these things. These people, although sad and misguided and cognitively delayed and clearly idiotic, these people are a fucking great time for us right now. And we have to treat it like that. Caryma completely disagrees. Lochlin, I think he's coming around. But that's what makes this panel great. That's what makes this show great. Caryma's a way better person than me. I love Schadenfreude. Watching Frank Curtin get hauled away with the shirt over his head like he just got dummied by Joey Kosher in a hockey fight in 1985 was one of the great things that I saw from this weekend. Now, there are a lot of people out here who will go, oh, that's mean. I can't believe you're so mean. I don't care. I really don't care anymore. It's just my entertainment at this point. And it's going to end. Like, you're going to see less and less of this as we go. And here's another prediction. I bet you Miss Didula is in lockup or in a padded room in the next month. Guaranteed. I can't see how she's allowed to run around the country and incite this kind of shit in front of police stations without being accountable now. I really can't.
That's interesting. There has to be, on some level, there has to be a conversation with the with law enforcement in this country about how, and that's probably why she's backtracking so aggressively on Twitter or whatever the hell that was, because she realizes that she's fucked. Like, you can't just show up in a city and send 30 people after the police and not expect to have some ramifications. No?
I totally agree with you. I mean, I just haven't seen it yet. It's bizarre. It's bizarre to me.
But then we're back to square one. We're back to Caryma's concerns about how this is being handled as a whole by the police. But it's hard to sit here and criticize the police when you're watching this kind of madness, because I got to admit, I feel bad for them because I wouldn't know where to even fucking start with this group.
Yeah. Me neither.
Like, I don't have any advice. And I'm a very rational human being. We're gonna let that go.
Dude,
There was a
you're
long
just
pause
fucking
there,
gonna
guys.
Sit here and lie to us like we know you. I've worked with you for 2 years. I know you're not a rational person. Like you and Reason are not friends. You never have been, and you know that. Caryma's reasonable. You're the fucking least reasonable human being I've ever met in my life.
That's just not fair.
Caryma,
not fair.
Thanks for doing this.
See you later, guys.
Great to see you.
Caryma. Get that
Thank you so
T-shirt
much.
shit going. We got to
Yeah.
get Vibrate Away or whatever the hell that was up.
Vibrate Away. Oh, the Vibrate Away shirt. Yeah. That again. Fuck. There's so much. Next time we'll have you on to talk about the vibration guy. 17 guy's like, your vibrations are bad. She's like, go fucking vibrate over there, bud. We don't need your vibrations here.
That's
Anyway.
a shirt. That's
Yeah, it is.
fucking merch.
Go
You
vibrate
make
over
money
there,
off
loser.
that dick.
Thanks, Caryma. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Caryma Saad, ladies and gentlemen. Fuck, I love her. She's so awesome.
She's
so much
great.
fun to be around.
I do enjoy her. I do
do
enjoy
too.
her. I still don't quite understand what she's doing. Like I mowed my lawn this weekend, right? Like I am in honor of Caryma though. I'm buying a scooter.
Oh, you should. A lot of people are. Scooters are going through the roof because of Caryma,
Yeah.
especially with the journalist community. We might add to the network, actually. Did you hear about this high-profile firing just before coming on the...
I did. Lisa, what happened there? Bell employee,
Lisa LaFlamme.
right?
Yeah. Lisa LaFlamme, longtime host of The National on CBC. Took over for Lloyd Robertson. I call him
Yeah.
Floyd.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lives
yeah,
around
yeah.
the corner from me, Floyd Robertson. Used to see him at the liquor store all the time. Almost sued me for saying that on the radio once. I'm like, saw Lloyd Robertson in the liquor store. This is a true story. His little carry-all was just jammed with white wine, like packed with white wine. I'm like, he's probably going to get wasted. And then we got a note from CTV PR. They're like, Lloyd is a national hero. He doesn't like people talking about his drinking. And I'm like, whatever, fuck, take it easy. Anyway, CTV fired Lisa LaFlamme. And she put out which is like everybody's talking about it in our comment section. I'm like, fuck, I guess we got to pivot to Lisa LaFlamme. But here's what she said. She came out with her own announcement. And it's curious. We'll get to it in just a sec. Watch it.
Hello, everyone. Today, with a range of emotions, I'm sharing with you some information about me and my career with CTV News. For 35 years, I have had the privilege of being welcomed into your homes to deliver the news on a nightly basis, so I felt you should hear this directly from me. On June 29th, I was informed that Bell Media made a, quote, business decision to end my contract, bringing to a sudden close my long career with CTV News. I was blindsided and am still shocked and saddened by Bell Media's decision. I was also asked to keep this confidential from my colleagues and the public until the specifics of my exit could be resolved. That has now happened, and I want you to know what these last 35 years have meant to me. Everything. Reporting on the darkest days of war from Iraq, Afghanistan, and this year Ukraine, to covering natural disasters, this pandemic, federal elections, amazing Olympic moments, and so many other consequential events, including this summer's papal apology to residential school survivors. I need you to know that this is a trust I have never taken for granted as a reporter and as an anchor. I am forever grateful to you, such loyal viewers, for sharing in the belief that news delivered with integrity and truth strengthens our democracy. At 58, I still thought I'd have a lot more time to tell more of the stories that impact our daily lives. Instead, I leave CTV humbled by the people who put their faith in me to tell their story. I guess this is my sign-off from CTV, so I want to express my deepest gratitude to all of you, to my incredible colleagues for their unwavering support, my dear friends, and my loving family. While it is crushing to be leaving CTV National News in a manner that is not my choice, please know reporting to you has truly been the greatest honor of my life, and I thank you for always being there.
Ooh, juicy. That's juicy.
That's
some
a
juicy shit.
You make too much money, and we'd really like you to tell everybody that you decided to retire at 58. And then what we'll do is we'll write you a big check.
Yeah.
And so you're retiring. Here's your big check, because your check is too big. A lot of people, and again, a lot of people in the comment section is, she's a woman and she's 58. And it's TV. That's a money thing. It's always money. It's always money. They're walking people out all the time. It's unfortunate. We've lost this instant, like the media and this country, because of the ownership groups. They've completely disregarded any, and like heritage is just not a thing anymore. Trust is just not a thing anymore. All of it has gone right out the window. There's no integrity anymore. I mean, you really have to. For years now, my wife has been saying, every time a raise or even a hint or a sniff of money came around, she was like, "Don't take too much. Like, you don't want to be too high up on that ledger." And she's not wrong. And her concern is watching me in this business and watching people with big paychecks get walked out on a fairly regular basis. These companies don't care about people. They don't. And they run campaigns in January telling about how much they care about mental health. They don't care. All that is a way to convince you that they care about people so that you sign up for their cell phone, their cell phone packages. They don't care. There's a complete disregard for people on all levels, and it's sad and it's disgusting to watch. And as a result, you turn on the TV now, and it doesn't matter what channel you're watching. If you're watching in news or sports or anything, and you're not going to see a familiar face. What you're going to see is somebody that's willing to do the job and take a chance at a lower paycheck than somebody that might deserve a little bit more money, because they are more concerned about the shareholders and the stock prices at the end of the year.
And the skin color of the person doing the job now too. That's also part of it. And
I
say
there's
this,
that.
I want to. First of all, you're 100% right about the money. Right. Anytime you see someone who's a heritage name, who's a brand name, who's a trusted name, whose name has a trust score higher than the people that they work for, that's trouble. Number one. Trouble. If that's a big paycheck, that's trouble number two. Right. Yeah. If that person is over the age of 50, that's trouble number three. Right. She's 58. She clearly was blindsided by it, said that she had to get her affairs in order with Bell. So she did that. And now she's telling people this is her goodbye. So she didn't want this. Right. So we're seeing this.
She had a good lawyer. So she got her check. Guaranteed. And she still didn't have to sign anything that said that she had to agree to, to telling everyone she wanted to retire.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
We live in a world where in media, they know in traditional media that they're not going to make a lot of money. The margins are not great anymore. It's a diminishing asset. Yeah. So they have to ask themselves a question when it comes to their overall business strategy. Should we keep Lisa LaFlamme, or should we bring someone else in who may be of a different hue, skin color, so we can tell people we're inclusive? Right. And I point to the CHFI morning show, radio morning show. They get rid of two white people, a gay guy and a lady, Maureen Holloway and Darren B. Lamb, and they bring in Pooja and Gurdeep. It's the Pooja and Gurdeep show. And these people, and this was about representation, and I applauded it. Absolutely applauded it. But to an untrained individual, they would go, well, like, what is Pooja and Gurdeep's, like, what's their radio experience? Well, none. Like none, zero. But we need to look like, and we need to show people we are into representation. And I applaud it. I think it's a great thing. I think we should be having, I think representation has been long overdue. So if that's what they're doing here, and my spidey senses and a couple of different conversations I've had today, because Lisa lost her job earlier today. I knew about this. She put out the video. I called a friend of mine. He's like, yeah, we're probably going to hire somebody that's more representative. That's the new catchphrase in the business. We need to get more representative. And it should be. We should be representative of the people in this country, the cultures in this country, the skin colors in this country. We're very multicultural. I applaud it. I get it. But if you're looking for reasons for why they decided to gut one of the most trusted news programs in this country. Say what you like about CTV. I don't trust a fucking thing they put out because it's Bell. So, like, dude, you can't. You legitimately cannot trust them. So, but I could trust Lisa. I don't juggle the balls well, do I? Never been good at that.
Well, here's. Can I just jump in here quickly too? The other thing that you keep saying, and I understand where you're coming from, is the traditional sources of media are not making any money. And yes, there is a decline in the revenues that are being accumulated by mainstream media. That is. It wouldn't take you much of a Google search or much of an education to find that is true. Traditional mainstream sources, radio, television, newspaper are not making the money that they were making in the 90s and the 80s and like it has, like, the heyday has gone away. But the thing that you keep forgetting about, Dean, is that who owns these traditional mainstream outlets?
Telcos.
Billion-dollar cell phone companies. Okay,
yeah, they don't care about the news. They don't care.
They
about
have
content.
money.
Yeah,
they have money. So this is never about whether or not they have enough, right? And they do the same thing that governments do. Like, governments go, "Oh no, we can't spend money on that. That's not in the budget." Oh, fuck you. If you really wanted to do it, you could spend money on that. If you really, really, really wanted to save Lisa, you would have been able to find the money for her. This is not it. It's about money, but it's not about a lack of money. I understand what you're saying, Dean, and you are right. Television stations, radio stations are not making the kind of money that they used to make, but they still make enough money to pay their staff. But guess what they do? If they pay their staff less and then they hang a hat on it as representation.
Bingo. You're abusing two different people in that and that is a fucking great point. And my friend who's awesome, Big Black Crypto, you guys should follow him. He's incredible. He made mention of it here. Her replacement's going to be 1/5 the pay, but the person replacing her will never be someone for the people incoming a new corporate representative, Taylor Bell imagery. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what's going to happen. So they're going to abuse this woman who's done nothing but be, exceptional at her job for 35 solid years, right? Nothing but exceptional. And then they're going to abuse the next person by saying, we're going to give you Lisa's old job. And they're going to go, great. How about her salary? They're like, whoo, slow down, fella. You're new. Yeah. They're going to devalue that right from the start because that was why they made the decision. That was one of the factors that went into making the decision. So I love the point that you made, and you're 100% right. It's like, hey, we can look like we're more representative. At the same time, we can save $700,000 and pay this person $2 instead of $1 million, right?
So what do you think? What do you think Lisa made? Let's do a little bit of fun.
$1.5 million, maybe more. Yeah.
What did Lloyd make?
Probably 10 million. Lloyd probably made 10 million. He lives literally I walk past his house every day. He lives literally a stone's throw from my house. Yeah.
You'd think he'd drink something better than $15 bottles of white wine then.
I think he bought the Magnums too. Like, he wasn't even buying the 750s. He was buying the 1.5s. He was like, I need the baby duck. That's what he was doing. But dude, they let Lloyd Robertson literally work till he was 90. I think he's 160 now. But they let him work until he was 90. And they're like, whatever, Lloyd. Whatever. You're Lloyd Robertson. You're the voice. She's the voice of news in this country, if you ask me. I can't name anybody else from any other station. Can't name one.
I think you're exaggerating, but I would be willing to bet money on it. She was making a quarter of what, not a tenth. I'd say a quarter of what Lloyd was. And they walked her out at 58.
Yeah,
there is a gender thing here again. Like, I mean, I'm not naive to the fact that there is a gender thing. Women get screwed, especially on the television side of things. Yeah,
huge. I wonder because she went with her natural hair color. I wonder if that had something to do with it. Because
I thought she looked.
Lloyd was dying.
I thought she looked great.
Incredible. Lloyd was dying that rug until he was like 90. Lloyd was like, he'd spray that shit on.
Hair in a can, baby.
Yeah. And you'd see him. He was a fashionable guy. Like, every time I saw him at the liquor store, which was several times, he had the giant Gucci shades on like Kim Kardashian and would wear like a white tracksuit. And I'm like, that guy is fit. That guy knows it. That guy knows he's Lloyd Robertson. That is fucking awesome. I love the guy. Anyway, the best to Lisa LaFlamme. She was great. Rod, our boy Rod.
I hope she
Rod
got
Black.
a good chunk of change on the way out.
I'm sure she did just fine. I'm sure she's not going to go
She
hungry,
got some
Lochlin.
She got some exit money.
Yeah, she got exit money. I liked her. Oh, well.
There's going to be a day when someone pulls me into an office and goes, Loch,
take this thing.
You're
put it in your
87.
Pocket. Sign
it's
this.
Time to retire.
Time to go. Yeah, it will be. It's probably coming sooner than you think.
The kids don't get your jokes anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. She didn't tell any jokes. Like, she didn't have to be a fucking super influencer. I don't think they like. I don't know what the and guaranteed there was.
I don't know
whole
what your
bunch
thing is
going
with
on behind the
CTV, but
scenes.
I didn't mind Lisa. I thought she had a personable delivery. Like there's a couple of people in the news where when they're delivering the news, you don't get a sense that they're just reading something that was provided for them. When I was listening to Lisa, when I watched Lisa, I got the sense that she was involved in the creation of that story and she wanted to make sure it was told in a certain way. I got a sense of that, right? Like, you get that feeling from some people that deliver the news that are supposed to be, you're supposed to deliver the news without any sort of sense of bias, right? But I do enjoy those people where you can hear it in their voice if they're a little disgusted with the story. You know what I mean? Like, I always enjoy that. Like, I can't believe I'm reading this. Like, what's going on? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I enjoy those guys that aren't just pulling it off the paper and trying to just sound nice.
Yeah. Brittle Star made a comment. I fucking love Brittle Star. But you got to follow Matt Brittle Star, by the way. He's on the show from time to time. Great friend. Good guy. Another bonkers decision by a dying medium intent on sabotaging its own relevance and trust. This is all kinds of foolish by Bell Media. That is harsh. And I love it. I love it. Like, that's a harsh take. Like, you sabotage yourself. But, dude, I had a conversation with a couple of guys this weekend. One guy, and it was an extension of another conversation. It's just, at this point, it's profit taking. Like, I know you're bullish on radio. I know you're bullish on traditional media. I am, too. It's just being used wrong in my estimation. But it's like,
I don't disagree with you.
How much can we suck out of this machine? How much can we keep in our pockets? And how can we just keep the lights on when it comes to the traditional shit until we can get into that digital space full time? Like, that's all this is, dude. That's all radio is now. That's all television is. And it's a shame, really, because, like, the decisions that they make in their infinite wisdom literally destroys people. Lisa's going to be fine. She's one of, hundreds and thousands of people over the past 5 to 10 years that have been jettisoned, early, because in their infinite wisdom, they seem to think that they don't have to be accountable, which is the problem, that the duality of these two mega corporations that own all the media in this country. That's the problem, is that there's no one here to stop them. There's no one here to say, hey, hang on a second. You're not servicing anybody. You're just trying to steal money at this point. And you're hurting people by doing it. And you're hurting institutions by doing it. And you're hurting careers and you're hurting families. But Bell legitimately does not give a fuck about people.
None of them do.
None of them do.
They're
not
all
one
in the
broadcasting
same boat
company.
for me.
And
I'm lucky. Hold on. I'm lucky. I work for a smaller company.
Yeah.
And I mean,
they're great.
They do. They
believe in people, and and they're a Western company.
I
Harvard's
told you about what we have to do.
People.
This is a great way to tease tomorrow's show.
Yeah.
And everyone's up in arms about it. And I'm the first guy that gets cynical about like these company ideas, right? Guess what? We're going to have guess what we're doing? But I read it, and my first instinct was to get mad. And then I was like, hold on. Like, I work for a company that's actually trying. I mean, this might be a miss, but they're at least fucking trying. So we got an email a couple of weeks ago. We all have to do a 30-minute Zoom meeting with somebody in the company that we've never met before. And then we have to write a little report on them. Right. And everyone's like, what is this? And I'm like, this is not Bell. You know what I mean? This is
You guys should
something.
enjoy this. These guys actually want us to meet the people we work with. It's a good idea. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm antisocial and I'm cynical and I'm the first one that would rail against something like this. But I immediately had that thought, like, okay, this might not be something I like doing or agree with, but at least it's a fucking attempt to try to be a people-oriented company. Right. So, all right, I'm going to send Sean a note and I'm going to learn about this kid who works on the morning show in Fort Mac. Not only that, I'm going to bring him on this fucking podcast and I'm going to introduce him to the people that watch this. And that's how I'm going to do my Zoom meeting. Look at me. Multitasking.
Well, there's two things here. One, way to blow up the company. Great job. Never a bad idea to juggle the balls of the people that you work for. Excellent stuff. Number two, what I've loved.
It is a good company, though.
They're a great company. Harvard Broadcasting. If you want to work for a company, Google Harvard Broadcasting. These are good people that are interested in the people that help them do their jobs. Like
we're making all the mistakes everyone else is making, though, too. It's unfortunate. The whole business is in trouble right now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But what I love that you've done outside of that is you've taken what you have to do as part of your work curriculum and you're making me do it for you on this show so that you can have like a buffer. I love it. So it's not uncomfortable. Dude, I would do the exact same thing to you. I totally would. As soon as you call me, you're like, hey, can we do this work thing on the podcast? I'm like, of course we can. All I thought in my head was, he's doing it to me, isn't he? He's doing what he does to Jimmy. He's just doing it to me. He's just doing it to me this time.
Hold on, I told you I was doing that.
I know, but I'm saying your motivation is, I know. You're like, listen, I need to do this on the show because I literally can't take a phone call with a person I don't know. So can we do this on the show? And I'm like, you're just passing this off, so I have to do it. That's what you're doing, right? You'll just make it easier.
You'll make it fun, Dean.
Yeah,
you'll make it fun.
Well, I'm looking forward to it too, because that's where I got my start in radio in Fort McMurray. So I'm wondering if
so did I.
Large-breasted hairdresser is still working at Johnny's hair salon. That was about 24 years ago. So I'm like, I have a 24-year-old.
So you worked on what station?
The country station. I don't even know what it's called anymore.
CJOK.
That's the one. Yeah.
Okay. And I was in the same building, but I was on Kicks. Kicks 98. I was doing the evening show.
I was 96. I was there in 96. When were you there? 96, 97.
I was there in 97. So I just followed you.
Yeah, you were there like right after me.
Oh, were you there with Huff?
Nope. No idea. Oh, Fraser Tough, you mean?
Fraser Tough.
Fraser
Tough.
Before he's or after Calgary Fraser? Yeah. I was there with him, dude. He and I got drunk almost every day together for 6 months.
See, I just missed Fraser, and then I met Fraser after the fact. But he was doing mornings on Kicks, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so you would have been on the and Andy Carlson. Do you remember Andy?
No idea.
Andy was my program director. He must have showed up because they went through program directors like toilet paper. Man, it was crazy. So Andy Carlson called me a couple of years ago. I told this is not going to make me look good. But he phoned to tell me that the general manager there, who I just thought was the worst piece of garbage on the planet,
Kelly. Yeah, he
told me that he had died and did not expect the reaction that I gave him.
What was your reaction?
Good. He's like, really?
Dude,
that's
for the last
not what
2
I
hours
expected.
you've been talking about how humanity's in the toilet and you're going to save it. Then you just told me a story about how a guy died and so the other guy told you and you're like, fucking right, it's good. I'm glad he's dead. Be the same person.
I'm a conflicting personality. I get that.
Good. Hey, by the way, I heard the same thing at the same time and I was like, yeah, well, that's what happens when you eat all the time. Smoke, drink, act like an asshole. You end up dying young.
And you're a complete piece of shit to mankind.
Oh, yeah. Oh, one of the
people
worst
were starving up there. People were starving up there.
And he did not give a fuck.
No.
Either.
No,
yeah.
no,
Dude,
he was
one of the
criminal.
worst managers. We should go on like a series of our worst radio managers of all time. Because you think you've got bad managers in real world. Radio managers are the worst. Because on top of being clueless in the real world, they're the laziest people in the world who were never successful at that job. And he's one of them. Yeah.
That guy drove to work in like $100,000 cars and was paying his staff like people were living in homes up there with like 15 other people just to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I was making my take home pay every month, I lasted 8 months in Fort Mac, was $769. I'll remember this to the day I die. That was my monthly take-home pay. My rent was $1,325.
Did you blow guys down at the Sawmill Hotel for extra dough?
No, you know what I did? I started doing weekend gigs in bands, and there was weekends I was making. I would make more than I would make in a month at the radio station. I told you I got lured up there because they were like, I know the salary's not that, but we're going to give you lots of opportunity to make money outside of the of your salary. And one of them was, I've told this story 100 times. People are probably sick of hearing it. But for those that are new to the pod, so I was doing these Kingo Bingo broadcasts. I was doing these quick little hits. They did fucking bingo on the radio, and it was on C Joke. So I would go to like the Max store in Thickwood, and I would go, "Hey, it's Lochlin Cross. I'm here representing C Joke. Remember this Saturday night at 8:00, we got Kingo Bingo. You know, you got a $25,000 jackpot, and you can get your bingo cards here." So I would do that 2 or 3 times a week. I would go into work early because I did evenings, and I would run around the city. They had a schedule for me, and then I would mark my time sheet and hand it in at the end of every week, right? Expecting some payout. And then I got called into Kelly Boyd's office at the end of the summer, and he goes, "Hey, just want to tell you, you, my friend, we're really happy to have you here. You're a hardworking guy, but we had to sit down with the Kingo Bingo budget, and unfortunately, we had to readjust. And all that work you did this summer we can't pay you for it." And I went, "What?" He said, "Yeah, we had to readjust the budget. So yeah, sorry, but great job, son." And I went, "How long have I been here?" And he went, "What?" I said, "How long have I been here? What month is it?" And he goes, "I don't know." I said, "Well,
a lot of people ask that question
here
in Fort McMurray, by the way. What month is it? A lot of people ask that question because it's dark for like months at a time. Yeah.
You don't know what month it is." And he goes, "It's September." And I said, "Okay, well, I started and I've been here for 10 months. You owe me what? 2 weeks holidays?" And he went, "Yeah, close to it." I said, "I'll tell you what, I'm going to be back here at fucking 4:00. And I want my fucking 2 weeks on a fucking check. And you can take this job and shove it up your ass." And he went, "What?" And I said, "I think you fucking heard me, Tubby." I didn't say that. I said, "You fucking heard me." I said, "I'll be back here at 4:00.
Guy you're talking to?
Yeah, Kelly.
Attaboy.
And I went home and I told my wife we had to move again. Always a thrilling conversation with the radio widow is what she calls us off.
It happened again.
And I went and grabbed my shit and grabbed my last check, and I got the hell out of there. Best decision I ever made. That place is a shithole. And then I went out of my way to tell everybody about that company and that man for the next 10 plus years. I did talks at schools, and I told people, criminals run that building. Do not fucking go there. I told you the story about the program director like 10 years later calling me, going,
yeah,
leaving me a message going, "Hi, it's Jerry from fucking Kicks 98 in Fort Mac. I need to talk to you." And I call him and I'm like, "Hey, Jerry, how you doing?" He goes, "Good. Like, I just got pulled into an office and they told me to phone you and tell you that you got to stop saying bad things because we're having trouble hiring people." And I went, "Good." And I went, "What the fuck are you doing there? Get out of there." And he phoned me a week later and said, "Thank you. I quit. I made the fucking program director quit."
Attaboy.
Every ounce of pain I gave them wasn't even worth it in my mind. They were so bad to people. They were robbing people, and they were making hand over fist. Like, that guy was loaded. Kelly was a millionaire when he died.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it should please you to know that when he and his wife broke up, he was forced to go live in the basement, and she lived upstairs with her boyfriend, and he had to listen to them get it on for a few years. So probably had like just a terrible last several years of his life. I know that that's an awful thing to say, but it's a fact. So
I'm
just
okay
know,
with it.
and you know what I think? I think it's like, it always comes for people. Yeah, it always does. Like, if you're an asshole, if you're a prick, if you're going to do terrible things to people, you're going to have a terrible life. And if your decisions are terrible, you're going to have a terrible life. If your decisions are good, you're going to have a good life. People are going to be sad when you die, or people are going to be like, "Oh, that's a shame. That was a good guy." No one's upset that guy's dead. Not one person. Any person I know that knows him is like, "Eh, well, Life happens, right? Like it doesn't matter. But if you're a good person,
I believe in that.
You'll have
I believe
good
in
things.
that.
Yeah, I do too.
I believe if you put a certain amount of positive energy, and I fail at this all the time, and I catch myself every once in a while. You got to put a certain amount of positive energy out there, you're going to get it back. If you put a certain amount of negative energy out there, you're going to get that back as well. Again, I question that theory sometimes when I see certain things working the way they work in the world, but for the most part, I try to believe in that, and it helps control, because I tend to gravitate towards the negative side of things in my life, and if I can center myself with that, it does help. It helps me anyway.
Well, and you know what, the effort, and we'll close with this, but the effort to be a better person, it's like incumbent upon every individual to do it themselves, right? Like I know we've talked about Lisa LaFlamme losing her job and all these other terrible companies and terrible work people, but in the end, you just took responsibility for yourself and you said, fuck it, I'm leaving. I'm going to go have a better life somewhere else. And you didn't blame anybody for it. Like you didn't blame him for your misery. Sure, you did in the time, and you love making his life miserable after the fact. Who doesn't? I mean, that's your right. When someone makes your life miserable and you want to do the same to them, it only ends up hurting you. And if that's what you did and that's what you wanted to do, good for you. I mean,
I'm completely comfortable. I'm completely comfortable with the pettiness of it. Like I understood that. And that's why I get, because I was putting negative energy out there.
Yeah.
Right. But I felt like I needed to.
Well, yeah, dude, it's cathartic for you, right? Like for some people, that's how you deal with it. That's why I like Schadenfreude so much. You and I are very similar that way. When a bad thing happens to a bad person and someone goes, oh, that's a shame. I'm like, what, are you fucking kidding me? Like we just watched a whole bunch of degenerates try to arrest a bunch of police officers, get their asses kicked. I couldn't stop laughing. I've watched those videos 100 times this weekend, like just watch them and repeat. Like I would walk up the stairs, watch a video, go losers. I'd go to the bathroom, I'd sit down, take a dump, I'd watch the video again. Look at this guy, he's so crazy. It's like get out of the shower, I'm like, I need to watch that one more time. The picture of the video of Frank getting his ass kicked with his shirt ripped over his head like a hockey fight. I'm like, let's go watch Frank right before bed. That'll settle me down. That I enjoy that. You know, when a lot of people will do like meditation before bed, you know what I did last night? I watched those people get their asses kicked before bed, and I slept like a baby. So it's just how we're wired, and it's okay. Great to see you, Locke. I'm glad you muscled through this one. What's that?
Very zen of you.
Thank you. Hope you feel better.
I pounded a bunch of Buckleys, and I made it through.
I appreciate that.
All right,
we're going to move Tom Segura and drinking at the movies to tomorrow. Sorry we didn't get to it. Kind of shit happened, but we're going to talk about those two things because you went and saw Tom Segura in Edmonton. And I want to talk about that tomorrow.
And I have some advice for upcoming comics.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to tomorrow now. But feel better, dude. We'll talk to you soon.
I will. Take care, brother.
All right, man. Good to see you too. Lock and Cross, 957 Cruise FM in Edmonton is where you can find him. Thanks, everybody, for being part of the show. Thanks to Caryma for joining us as well. Thanks to you for tuning in. Really appreciate it. As always, you can see everything we do at deanblundell.com, and I encourage you to go there and check it out. Also sign up for a newsletter at deanblundell.com. Super easy to do. And subscribe to everything that we do on Twitter, Google, Spotify, Apple for podcasts, audio versions. You can go to YouTube, subscribe, Dean Blundell Show on YouTube, Dean Blundell TV on Twitch. But subscribe and rate and review and say nice things about us from time to time. Apparently that helps if you enjoy any of the things we do. Appreciate you being here. Thanks for doing this. And thanks to our friends at kivlaw.ca. If you're looking for some legal representation, if you're in trouble, did you do something you shouldn't have? Have you been accused of doing something you didn't? Or are you just super confused because you're dealing with something pretty big and you've been putting it off? Robert at kivlaw.ca. Email my friend Robert at kivlaw.ca today, or go to kivlaw.ca and make sure you get in touch with these people. Going through a legal issue without legal representation is ridiculous. And when you do it, you're putting yourself at risk and you're jeopardizing your freedom. Do not do that. Call Rob today. Robert at kivlaw.ca. Kivlaw.ca. Defense attorneys are there for you. They're excellent. They're human beings that actually give a shit about you. So make sure if you have a pressing legal issue, the only person you call in Southern Ontario, Robert at kivlaw.ca. Thanks to Ed's Fine Imports. We wear as Gitch. You can too. GITCH. Promo code GITCH3. Get yourself a pair of these delicious boxer briefs. They come in several colors. Lightweight waistband. Unbelievable. They got the pouch in the front. This is the only underwear we wear, the only underwear you should be wearing. Ladies, order them for your hubby, your significant other. I don't care who you get these underwear for, but they will change your life. Buying underwear sucks. Knowing what underwear you need without actually having to go and go, oh, I wonder what these, and they feel weird. You're going to cut on the inside. How do they, the fellas, where do they fit? Does this look good? Is this big enough, small enough for me? No. Ed's Fine Imports, Gitch. Order them today. He'll send you a free pair and use promo code GITCH3. Clothing for men and boys, too. Massive online store. So go to edsfineimports.com today. And last but not least, Easy Auto Financial, helping people get into cars. Financing's tough. It sucks. Credit ratings sometimes not great. We all understand that. Folks at Easy Auto Financial know that. And so what they do is they make sure that you get the financing you need and you do not have to pay for it. Doesn't matter what your credit rating is. These guys are turnkey, lovely people. They'll take care of everything from A to B when it comes to buying a car and getting your financing and not having to pay for that financing. It's brilliant. So use them today. No obligation. Go to easyautofinancial.ca for more information. Have a great day, everybody. Appreciate everybody being here. If you're in a cult and you want to get out, don't call me. Go see a professional. Go get some counseling. If you think that a woman driving around in an RV is the queen of the world and you're going to arrest a whole bunch of police officers today because you have a difference of opinion or you didn't like the mandates, you didn't like vaccines or mask restrictions, you need help big time. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye.